welcome everybody to the Fat Guys on a Little Podcast, the St. Patrick's Day edition.
Oh, yes.
Your host, Steve Markey, and always joined by
Charles here.
And via satellite / Skype / whatever, Bill Vicious is here. Bill, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
So far, so good.
Had better days. What's the problem?
I know. I've had other days, but now the big thing about this weekend, besides St. Patrick's Day, there's two events that happened every year around this time.
BB's got some audio on his
There's
There's a little bit of a lag here on the Facebook feed.
So, one of the big events is, of course, my niece, Charles's daughter, Lorna's big birthday.
Yes.
She turned 7.
Lorna,
this past
as
Friday.
we call it. It goes for 4 or 8 crazy nights.
You let this little girl pick any restaurant she wanted to go to for her birthday. And Charles, where did she pick?
My daughter wanted to go to Taco Bell.
Yes. The big marquee / McDonald's celebration for Lorna's birthday was at Taco Bell. So
She loves it. She loves a taco no lettuce.
Is that what she gets? Is that all she gets? Does she
Taco
get
no
all-
lettuce, regular plain nacho.
Nothing else?
That's you in a freeze, but you just don't get it in front of her grandma, apparently.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that. But so there you go. Lorna loves her some Taco Bell. It was other that or Blaze Pizza, right? That was the other option?
Yeah, she loves. So today she wanted Blaze, and I told her no. We went to Buddy's.
Yeah, I don't blame you there. And how did the big birthday celebration? She had a party with her friends. How many friends showed up?
So it was her plus 9 other little girls and kids that were here.
Oh, it must have been chaos.
The nice part was I was at work,
Oh,
so I have no
poor Heather.
idea.
They had to deal with that. Oh, man. How many nugs did those kids eat?
So we bought 10 20-piece nuggets. I've literally got a huge bag in my freezer full of nuggets. They barely touched any of them.
Really?
So I got nuggets for days.
Lauren, guess what you're eating for lunch tomorrow?
Yeah,
nuggets.
nuggets.
So there. Now, the other big event that happens every St. Patrick's Day weekend is none other. Is Bill still there? What was that noise?
BV just passed out.
Oh, okay. Bill passed out.
I'm still
None other is William Vicious's I can't talk. William Lockhart's wedding anniversary. And how many years have you been married now, Bill?
Today is 7 years.
Wow.
All happy?
Sure, we'll go with that.
Just kidding. And what was the big anniversary celebration party event with you and Abby?
There has not been one yet.
What are you waiting for?
Next year's.
We're really gonna nail it on the Ocho.
No, Abby's not been feeling well, so.
Oh, okay. Well, get better, Abby. And Bill's going to take you to that hot tub Oasis place in Ann Arbor.
So you didn't take her out to dinner or nothing?
Oh, we went out to eat yesterday, but it wasn't really a holiday celebration kind of thing.
Where'd you
Or
go?
anniversary celebration.
Well, it had to be.
We went to On the Border.
What does she eat? Can she eat beans? Is that what she gets it on the border?
She get beans or veggie fajitas. They have like
fajitas.
portobello and veggie fajitas, and
Like, these fajitas are missing something. Oh, yeah, meat.
we'll have queso and stuff like that. So.
Oh, man. So big celebration. As you can tell by the excitement in Bill's voice.
Yeah, he sounds super stoked.
They're actually going down to Disney World next week. Didn't want to tell anybody.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's going to see the Star Wars stuff before they let anybody see it. He's going to walk around the outside of it.
What? For real?
Yeah, Bill's going. Aren't you, Bill?
What?
I was like, wow. How'd you pull that?
BP got an exclusive.
I was about to say, man, good pull, man. Wow.
Yeah, you got to go down there and preview the Star Wars land because that's high on Bill's list of things to do. That and
There aren't really any perks from BP.
and then he's also going to go to the beach. He's going to hang out a lot at the beach.
He's known for the beach.
Yes. When you see BB, you think
Yes, the huge pasty white non-swimming will be beet red in 15 minutes. That's beautiful.
So what are you doing? Are you going to take her somewhere nice, or what are you
Yeah,
doing?
we'll do something.
you going to go ballroom dancing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, as soon as you do, I'll.
I want to. Michelle keeps turning me down.
Why do you want to go ballroom dancing?
I want to learn it. I thought
You
it'd be
ripped
fun.
on me for listening to Clay Aiken in the pre-show here, and you want to
I'll
go
be
ballroom
dancing with a woman and not jacking off to Clay Aiken.
Dude, first of all, that is the best way to do it.
we took a few dance lessons before the
see.
wedding.
Wow, look at that. It paid off because I remember your dance number. I don't remember any dancing Bill did. To be honest,
We danced a little.
Oh,
we didn't do anything fancy, but you know.
I always wanted to do that. Michelle keeps turning me down. If you listen to Michelle, time to ballroom dance.
Well,
I do the cha-cha.
you're 600 pounds with 2 left feet. What do you plan to do?
Dude, I got moves.
Okay.
I'll get it going. I'll do it. I always wanted to do it. My wife turns
crazy.
me down. No?
I think it'd be fun too.
Yeah, see? There you go.
What is this?
You don't dance, man? You're that guy at the dance that stood up against the wall and bobbed your head?
I mean, I'm not going to ballroom dance, if that's what you're asking.
Well, you just do a class. You're not like going out.
Dude, I don't know.
You're not trying
Michelle's-
out for Dancing with the Stars.
I
or
don't know,
anything.
Steve. You sound pretty into it.
I'd do it. I would. But I got a wife that has 2 left feet and bad ankles and won't do it. She's afraid she'll hurt her ankles, is what she told me. So are any of us alcoholics and ready to drink this St. Patrick's Day? Bill?
No,
Is your wife
Sounds
having a
way
St.
into
Patrick's Day drink?
she can't have alcohol right now.
Oh, because of her cold?
She's pregnant.
Medications. that
She's
on.
pregnant.
Ooh.
You got a big
That's
announcement for the
absolutely
podcast,
not the
BV?
case.
Oh, man. This
No,
is some
that's
good.
absolutely
Congratulations. Go to BV at
Yes.
Facebook.
Oh, Kim will
Yeah,
host
there's
your
no
baby shower.
congratulations.
No? Oh, okay. So no drinks for even Abby. But what we do, we have what is called, Charles. Will you tell us what this is?
So I found this. So Merchants is a local liquor store that's here, and it's usually pretty good. It's not as good as BV stuff, but I went in there looking for some St. Patty's Day stuff, and I found it's technically a British drink, but it's their Irish style cream ale. Now it's hard with BV on Skype, but nonetheless, we hopefully can describe it, and BV can understand this. It's Wexford's Irish style cream ale. The nice part is it's got the little nitro widget inside of it, like a Guinness does. But it's hopefully not going to taste as gross as a Guinness.
What is a nitro widget?
So they put inside of them, they put like this little capsule that opens up when you crack the top.
Oh.
And that's what gives it that weird Guinness creaminess in the can and all that kind of stuff. So I've got us 2 Wexford Irish style cream ales here.
I don't know if people can see it online there, but it's green and tan.
And you could hear... It doesn't have like the micro bubbles that a lot of the widgets
makes
do.
a weird noise when you open it.
Yeah.
Oh, for
That's
both
that.
your sakes, I hope it doesn't taste anything like Guinness because Guinness is nasty.
And I agree with BV. Guinness is disgusting.
Now, side note, I went to Dad's house today, and Kim in the slow cooker pot has corned beef soaking in Guinness.
Okay, I'd eat that. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I guess you pour the Guinness in there and let it soak for 2 hours, and then eat the corned beef.
This is really not bad. It's really, it's not bitter in any way. It's super creamy. I definitely get why they call it a cream ale.
It is creamy.
Steve is not into it at all. I can tell by looking at his face.
I'm just old school beer guy.
Yeah.
It's like, Coors Light, Miller Lite, Bud Light, and then shit like this is always kind of...
I really like it. This is 10 times better than a Guinness BV. I'm telling you. BV's spot on. Stout beers are disgusting. I don't care what Wig says. I'm not into it. This is this is kind of like if you've had ever BV, you like a Killian's? You ever drink a Killian's Irish Red?
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, it's kind of in that vein. It's like a nitro boosted Killian's is what it tastes like.
I would like to talk to their graphic designer, though. You got light gray text on a tan can. You can't really read anything about it.
Wow.
Who designed this can?
I have no idea. This is a product of the United Kingdom.
Yeah, that is the
It's a
wrong color text.
440 milliliter can.
Yeah, so there you go. Wexford, Irish style cream ale. Guess you had
So
to
happy
being
St.
part
Patty's
Irish.
Day,
You had to
yeah.
drink something.
I like it. I give it a huge thumbs up. I think it tastes really
try it.
good.
I mean, it's fine. I don't know. I'm not a big drinker.
It is. It's like a Killian's. It's like nitroized Killian's. It's good. It's really good. So I give it a thumbs up. Steve's a no. Steve's a whatever. I don't care.
It's whatever. I mean, next St. Patrick's Day, I'd have one. Yeah, that's fine. I wouldn't go out of my way to go
Would
buy
you
a six
drink
pack.
it before a Guinness? That's the ultimate question.
Yeah, I'd drink anything before.
I drink freaking tar water. It's all-
This podcast will never be sponsored by Guinness, apparently.
yeah, it's
I mean,
gross.
the only Guinness I like is Alec Guinness off of Star Wars that played Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay. A little bit of
We'll get you
Star
another
Wars
bottle of proper 12 for next year.
Oh, jeez. Steve likes his proper
You
12.
can just down the bottle.
Steve is way down with proper 12.
Yeah, well, we'll talk
BV, you drink anything random lately at all that you could share with us at all? Anything you've tried or anything lately?
Diet
Nothing
Pepsi.
out of the ordinary.
No.
Have you tried the new vanilla Diet Coke?
No.
Vanilla
Or
Diet
vanilla
Coke?
and orange, I think it is. They're
Oh,
promoting
okay.
the heck out of it.
Vanilla and orange sounds okay. I'm like, vanilla Diet Coke, I think, has been around for a while.
Yeah, I think it's vanilla orange. There's some new Diet Coke that just came
Yeah.
out. It's all over the place.
So what's the usual haunt for BV? So you go out with your lovely wife. What are you going to pick up, BV?
I don't know. If we were going to go out on St. Patrick's Day, I think you guys went to this. There's that Irish pub that's not too far from us.
Yeah, just don't get the beef stew.
What's the name of that place, BV? Give it a plug. 'Cause you guys like it
It's
a
called
lot.
Ballydoyle.
Ballydoyle. Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause
we haven't been there in quite a while, but
but you're a big fan of that place, right?
I used to be. I haven't really been in the last year and a half.
Bill, don't leave the house.
I was going to say, like, what's going on?
Yeah, I don't drink very much anymore.
Oh, well, you don't have to drink, but you go have some good food or something. Thanks, BB.
Hey, no problem.
Oh, that's funny. So there you go. Go out on St. Patrick's Day. You don't have to get your patches on your coat or sit there since 6 a.m. Just drink responsibly. Don't kill anybody on the way home.
Don't be an idiot. Yeah.
Or if you work for Border Patrol, just flash your badge when you get pulled over.
Oh, hello. Topical.
Oh.
So there we go. Now, this week, because football is over and March Madness hasn't started. By the way,
When does March Madness? So we're seeding correctly right now. Is that what we're looking to do?
a lot of the big tournaments are going on for like Big Ten tournament. All
SEC tournament was going on today. I noticed a little bit on
that.
television.
Yeah. Who won the Michigan State game? I don't know.
Michigan State just won.
Oh, wow.
So does that mean they
Selection
take?
shows like in a half hour, I think.
So did Michigan State take the Big Ten then at that point? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was between those two all year long, really. But
They played not too long ago. There was that weekend with Duke, North Carolina, and State, Michigan, not too long ago.
Michigan State won that one too.
Yeah.
So, Bill, are you going to fill out a bracket for office pool or anything?
Yeah.
Who does anyone like this year? I mean, obviously Duke with Zion. Zion came back. I saw, he put his shoes back together and got back out there. Who does anyone like, BV? You got like a person you're really hyped on?
I don't know. I mean, with Duke with Zion's going to be tough to beat. But any team could get hot and go. I don't think there's been really any one dominant team all year.
Yeah, from what I understand. Now, I also understood that LSU's coach got fired.
Yeah.
Drives.
For
So I'm
doing
not
all that
sure what
stuff.
they're going to do. I
Yeah.
don't know if they're going to rally without him or fall apart. Probably fall apart. Maybe Tennessee might get a little run going in there, even though they struggled a little bit down the road.
Tennessee was playing someone today. Florida, I think.
Yeah,
They got bounced by Auburn in the SEC championship game today. They lost by like 20, I
That's
think.
what it was,
Yeah. So they're kind of a weird team. So they get hot and then cold. So I think they're on the cold side of their schedule. So I don't know.
Yeah.
So they're, I guess the usual side. How's North Carolina this year, Bill?
They're pretty good. I think they've been right around the top 10.
Michigan will probably have a little run. Michigan State will probably have a little run. The problem is those two. Well, Michigan's made the final. Michigan State always, what you got, Sweet 16, then get bounced or something like that.
Unless they have a bad year and they get bounced real early.
Yeah, lose to George Mason or something. But I don't know. Anyone else in the Big Ten we're talking about, Bill?
I don't know. I mean, not really. Wisconsin has historically done well in the tournament, but they haven't had a great year. I haven't followed it as well. I don't follow that anywhere near the way I used to follow it. But
Yeah.
I know Gonzaga's been top 5 all year too, which I know that's not Big Ten, but that's another.
Mm-hmm. How's Xavier? I always like taking Xavier.
Chavi.
Yeah. I always like Xavier. So that'll be next week. Maybe we'll get it'll start on Thursday, won't it? The tournament will start this
Yeah.
coming Thursday.
We're kind of in between it. So,
Get your brackets filled out, get your pools going. I got a $50 square that I didn't even know I signed up for with Bert. So
$50 square for
the tournament. So any game that ends in, I think my numbers are 8 and 5. So if a game ends in 8 and 5, I win $25.
what?
Yeah, it's some weird. It's $50 for the square.
How do they? But okay. It's not like a Super Bowl square. How do they know how many teams are going to end at 8 and 5?
Well, it's all planned out. I don't know. Well, everyone's got numbers all the way around. You know, if 50,000 square, they sold 100 square. They got a lot of money, and every game you get right in the first round's like $25. Every game you get right. What I mean by right is Michigan State play right. Michigan has 85, and Michigan State has 98.
Yeah.
So I'd win because I have 8 and 5.
I get you.
So I won the $25 for
But
that
how
square.
do they know? So what I'm saying is in the Super Bowl, only one team scores an 8 and a 5. How do they know that 6 games don't end at 8 and 5?
Well, everyone's got numbers. So you have 7 and 1. The next guy will have
I
7
understand that, but what I'm trying to say is, how do they know how many games are going to end in that fashion?
They don't know that.
So they'd have to pay you per game.
Yeah.
So what if 17 games?
I
end
win
in
a ton of
85?
money? That'd be great.
What if? That's weird. Okay.
What are you not understanding?
Because the
it's
number's
the same
going to
as the Super
fluctuate.
Bowl.
No, it's not.
Yeah, and the grid will have numbers on each side.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to
So you have-
but
I'm sorry.
You're saying per game they're going to pay out,
Yeah.
right? So you have a finite amount of money over everyone paid in, right?
Right.
Are we there? Let's say that's $1,000.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's say 10 games end in that many, and then barely any other. There's still going to be money left over.
Well, it keeps going per round. It doesn't just stop in the first round. So the money,
The money will eventually run out.
right?
right?
Yeah, they have it all planned perfectly. So
Okay,
I've never heard of it
it
before.
sounds
either.
complex as all hell.
I mean, I've heard of filling out brackets and paying $10.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know I have a lot of chances to win $25.
It's crazy.
I'm hoping to win twice to get my money
Yeah,
back. That's
wow.
all I'm really. I won that.
I've never heard of that. This is new to me.
Yeah,
I
mean,
would say.
I'll tell you how it goes after this year. I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's pretty
I got a
crazy.
chart. I should have printed the chart out and brought it with me and let you look at it.
Yeah.
And then if you get,
So it's going to continue on per round,
and
what
it gets
you're
more
saying.
per round. So
Okay.
like the final 4 payouts more than the first round. So
Okay.
that's like $100.
So I guess I'm thinking that like they squander all the money over the. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
no. They have it all figured out pretty good,
Okay.
and down
Yeah.
to the last nickel. But
Jeez.
yeah.
So, in the grid, do you have like like you said you had 5 and 8? Do you have say like your 5 is the higher seed and 8 is the lower seed, or
Yeah,
is it just
yeah, that's
any
how-
combination?
Oh, is that how it goes?
That's how it
so that's
goes.
AFC, NFC is what.
Yeah. Higher seed is 8, lower seed is 5.
I
That's
didn't
something
understand
like
that it continued on, so you're only going to have X amount of games. So you basically
Yeah.
divide it. Okay.
Yeah, so they have
I
it
thought
all
it was only
broke
the
down.
first round. I'm like, okay, so there's $300 left over. What do they do with the 300?
They just keep it.
Yeah, I'm like, whatever, dude.
So yeah, the first time ever I've been in a college basketball squares thing. So I'll let you know how that goes and see if I mean, you got a ton of chances to win. So I'm hoping.
Well, yeah.
at
I
least-
mean, do you keep the same numbers per round?
Yeah.
Or does it reallocate?
No, it's
Jeez.
same numbers per round.
Okay.
And then I think, like I said, I think Final Four is $100 a game if you get it right. Championship game, if you win, it's $500, and second place is $250 or something like that. So
It's complex, man.
It goes up, and they have it all spent exactly. I don't know who figured all this stuff out to do all this, but
Yeah, I've never heard of it. And
Yeah.
that's why, like I said, I'm hard to wrap my brain around it.
yeah. So there you go. We got some basketball. March Madness coming up, and then a championship game, April. What is that? 5th through the 8th or something around there, somewhere around there. I forget how that goes.
Hopefully, it's not April 7th, or else Steve's going to be annoyed.
Oh no, it won't be April 7th.
Oh,
Trust me.
because they know to avoid that, like the NXT tournament last week.
No, I did wrestling smart. They know. No, it's the other way around. Wrestling knows to avoid the championship game of the
Yeah.
basketball.
Championship game's always Monday.
Yeah.
Semifinals are Saturday, and then Monday's the championship game.
So there's
But what
always
about
that
the
open
NXT
Sunday.
tournament, Steve?
That's still stupid. So before we get to wrestling, because that's coming up later,
tickle.
we did get to see some movies this week.
Yeah.
And the big one that Netflix was promoting with Oscar Isaac, Ben
Yeah,
Affleck,
I was gonna say
Charlie
Ben
Hunnam,
Affleck is who was in the front.
Pedro Pascal, who's in a lot of things. He's been showing up lately.
He's in the Narcos stuff.
Kingsman.
Yeah.
He's in a lot of stuff. He was Game of Thrones, the Viper. So he's in a Triple Frontier. Bill, did you get a chance to see that this week?
I have not seen it.
It just hit. I want to say it just came out like on Friday or something like that for them.
Yeah, it was on. There's limited release in the theater, and then it came out in.
Oh,
Netflix.
they did put it in the theater?
That's what Netflix is doing now because
Steven Spielberg pitched a bid?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they make sure to release in the theater limited.
Wow, that's
So that way,
interesting.
even though I don't suspect this movie will get any award consideration,
But that's how they're loopholing the.
Yeah. So basically, it's a group of ex-military, retired military guys, and one of their buddies is still kind of active, and he's down somewhere. I think it's Colombia. Is it Colombia?
Brazil.
Brazil.
I believe,
Sorry, I
yeah.
knew it was somewhere in there.
It's Brazil.
And he's got a bead on a drug lord that's hidden in the forest somewhere. And basically, the 5 of them, I think it's 5.
He goes back and recruits them to come and knock off this money from this drug lord and this drug lord.
Yeah, and they're going to keep the monies kind of under the table.
Yeah.
And then come back home and be rich is basically the crux
sounds
of it.
good.
Yeah. I didn't hate it as much as Charles did, but
The first hour of it's really good.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
the antics that happen after they recover the money that I was tuning out to.
it switched. So it went from like a military movie to
A
like
really good military movie.
to a survival movie like halfway through it.
Yeah.
It kind of got weird there. I don't know why they did that. or
The
chose
other
to do
thing,
that.
too, and I was talking to Heather about this, no one's really kind of likable in it.
No, they're all dirtbags.
Yeah, they're all dirtbags. So you're like, who am I rooting for? I
Charlie
don't know.
Hunnam, I guess,
yeah,
maybe?
I don't know. Like, because at the end of the movie, they give spoilers before, like Steve always says, they give all the money to Ben Affleck's family. But it's like, I'm not rooting for anyone. Like, who
Yeah.
am I rooting for?
Yeah. It was 2 hours. It felt like
It was
drag.
2 hours and change.
It
yeah.
felt longer than that at
Yeah.
points. There was a good movie there. Just something happened. I don't know what happened.
The end is
Yeah,
what,
it's typical Netflix film though. It's a Netflix 7. It's a regular film 5.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm whatever. It's like a solid 4 or 5 for me.
They
It
give a
just-
little twist with Affleck's character you didn't see coming. I didn't see that. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah. So if you have Netflix, is it good value to check out? Sure, but like the production value is really nice on
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
You know what I
it
mean?
is.
Like it looks like a full-fledged movie to your point of releasing in the theater. But man, just tonally, I'm like, what is going on?
The problem with it is they only have drama because they're extra greedy. If they weren't extra greedy, they'd be
yeah,
fine.
if they'd have got out of there,
Yeah.
hard out.
Yeah, and even when they told them, "Hey, this weighs too much,"
yeah,
and they still did it.
yeah,
It's like you did it to yourself. You're a
Yeah,
dumbass.
It wasn't a good movie for me.
And Netflix really pumped it up and really wanted it.
The
out
other
there.
thing I'd say too, Charlie Hunnam, the guy who played Jax in Sons of Anarchy, needs to go back and take some acting lessons, man.
Oh.
Because he's doing like this, like, what do you want me to do, bro? Like all the time. It's like, what is going on, Jax? Like, can you do any range?
I didn't catch that.
I don't dig him at all.
I
think
liked
his-
Oscar Isaac in it. It's like
That's
nice.
Poe, right?
Yeah, Poe
Poe's
Dameron.
really good. Poe's
Yeah,
really
it's
good
nice
in
to
it.
see him do something a little different.
I'm-
And that Pascal guy is always excellent.
And Ben
he always
Affleck's
looks like
not
Burt
that bad
Reynolds.
either. I think he's really comfortable. It's just the Charlie Hunnam stuff, man. I'm like, dude, what is going on? Yeah, not a fan. Like I said, it's a solid 4 for me. But if you have Netflix, I mean, what does it bother you to check it out?
Yeah.
But it looked great by the trailer, and just like I said, halfway through, I was bored. I was like, what is going on with this?
Yeah, it switches tone and it gets a little weird. Like I said, it's a Netflix 7 or 8, but if it was a regular movie release, I'd say a 5. Charles says 4, so
Yeah.
And I know everyone's gonna blow it more up out of proportion because everyone loves Netflix. But come on, let's be honest, it's a turd. So there's that one. Now the other one I only caught about 4 episodes. This is Ricky Gervais. It's called Afterlife, and the gist of the thing is
What channel is this on?
Netflix.
It's a Netflix show.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's very British. It's in England. They're not hiding no accents in this one.
Okay.
So sometimes you gotta catch yourself like, what did they say? But basically, he was married for 25 years, and his wife just up and died of cancer.
Okay.
So in life, he decides first off, he wants to kill himself half the time. And the other half the time, he decided he's just gonna be a dick to everyone in life.
He just gives up.
He
Like,
don't
what
care.
Do I care?
He's gonna be
Yeah.
a dick, and he's got a German Shepherd he lives with. It's a very dark comedy, but there's moments in it where he gets to just toast people, and it's hilarious.
Ricky Gervais can be a funny dude.
And it's different. It's not your typical kind of office / ha ha kind of movie or TV show. It's half-hour episodes. Like I said, I saw about 4 of them. Like for instance, this drug dealer he keeps running into, this druggie and he ends up with this prostitute, and the prostitute goes up. You can pay me. I'll do whatever you want me to do. And he pays her $100 to clean his house because he doesn't want to clean his house.
No.
And she's like, "This is literally all you want." He's like, "Yeah, just clean up." So it's weird British humor and dark humor mixed in. It's very different. I'm not gonna say it's oh my god rip roaringly hilarious, but if you want something different and a little odd and a little British, and you like Ricky Gervais. If you don't like Ricky Gervais, don't bother because it's 98%. It's written and directed by him. It's
I
all
think Ricky Gervais is a funny dude.
yeah.
I
So
like Ricky Gervais.
and it's just his take on dark comedy and
Because like that show
expression.
Extras with him was really like subtly funny as well.
Yeah.
And then like I said, the OG Office is hilarious.
Yeah, so if you like him, check out Afterlife on Netflix.
And BV, he's like a huge animal nut too. I don't know if your woman follows Ricky Gervais, but like he's a big into like all like animal rights and taking care of animals and stuff.
Yeah, in the show he has a giant German Shepherd as his dog, and that's the only reason he didn't kill himself because they show him in the bathtub with a razor.
No, jeez.
And the dog's hungry and wants to eat, so he doesn't kill himself, so he can go feed the dog.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's definitely not uplifting, but there are some laughs in it. So if you like dark comedy, you might want to check that out with him. But very, very British. Everyone
And that's
really,
a Netflix show. It's got a season.
Yes, yeah. About 10 episodes, I think.
Did that just hit?
Yeah, I just saw it on my feed.
Okay.
It just popped up, and I was like, oh, Ricky Gervais. I watched about 4 episodes. Now, this next one, when Rob was here a couple weeks ago, he couldn't explain it.
Still not describing it.
So I've watched Mortal Engines. I'm going to explain it.
This is the Peter Jackson Killer Cities,
yeah,
Cities
now,
Chasing
again,
Cities.
Peter Jackson's barely, he's just a producer. He's some other director. He's
No,
not-
I thought he directed this.
No, some other guy. Scott something comes up.
Okay.
I mean, it's literally the first name you see after the movie ends.
Okay.
So here's the gist. So now, in modern day, right now, all the countries build weapons that are more potent than nuclear weapons.
Okay.
They're like these energy weapons.
Okay.
And of course, like assholes, we wipe ourselves out.
Okay.
Except, pockets of people. What that does is it makes the Earth's crust loose. So the continents
So the
kinda
plate tectonics are moving around,
yeah.
if you will. Okay.
Now, flash forward to 2,000 years later. For cities to survive, they have to move and get to areas with resources.
So that's what you said was resource scarcity.
Yeah,
That was your theory.
So they built a giant London, and then there's smaller towns that
Is
have
it
smaller
supposed to
ones.
be London?
Yes, it's literally London.
So they take the
The
things
parliament is on top of
yeah,
the giant
that's
thing.
what I'm saying. So you take London proper and make it
And
mobile.
Hugo Weaving, off of a ton of stuff, he's second in charge to this guy that looks like an old British prime minister. I don't know who he is. And basically, Hugo Weaving's kind of like a modern-day Hitler 2,000 years in the future. He's building one of those energy weapons that they call the ancient ones, which would be us, built years ago.
Okay.
Because the reason being, they've pretty much ate up all the other cities. What they do is when they eat a city, they take the people off it and make them, immigrate into London, and then they eat the metal and melt it to power the engine of the city. That's why they're eating the cities.
Okay.
There's a giant wall right before China. It's not the Great Wall of China. It's a new wall they built with cannons and stuff on it. This is the Alliance. They don't have mobile cities. They're still normal. They just live in houses and stuff. Hugo Weaving wants on the other side of that wall to start eating all the houses and stuff to support his stuff. So he hates them. He wants over there. Now, the Chinese, it's like Chinese, India, and Japan have all united, and they're the Alliance over there.
Okay.
U.S. is nowhere mentioned in this at all.
I get you.
So in London...
Why are we going after the one girl?
The one girl's not. She's going after him.
Oh, okay.
She is his. Well, she doesn't know it. She has the most convoluted backstory you've ever heard in your life. She's going after him because he killed her mother.
Okay.
Come to find out, he's her father. Why she doesn't remember that? Because she was 8 years old when she got away. Now but this is backstory. So she's one of the main stars. She's got a scar on her face. The other main star is the guy from Umbrella Academy who can see dead people. He's in it too. It's about those two young white people. That are going through it, and she wants to kill him, and so she gets into London, tries to kill him, of course, fails miserably at it, gets kicked out of the city. He accidentally gets kicked out with her. Her backstory: 8 years old, her mother gets murdered. She gets sent. They call it the Wastelands. If you're not in a city, it's the Wastelands. She gets raised by a Frankenstein zombie thing that has green eyes,
Okay.
and it raises her.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's the weirdest bad.
BV's literally falling asleep.
I know.
in
Well, this is
Chicago.
what this movie is, and it feels like it when you watch. I mean, it's beautiful looking.
That was my next question. How beautiful does it look?
If you
Did
love,
you watch it in 4K or just a standard Blu-ray?
It's a standard Blu-ray.
Okay.
But if you like steampunk, you know that steampunk look,
that look.
you'll love this movie.
Okay.
Well, for the look. And Hugo Weaving, you like him being a bad guy, you'll like that. There are some cool flying contraptions and stuff. You'll like that. And the zombie Frankenstein guy was kind of cool. He comes back and is like a villain. He's almost like Terminator and later. But then he realizes it's her and gives her a chance. Some kind of bracelet thing and then dies.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a lot like Japanese anime where it looks beautiful, but the story needs reworking big time. So obviously Hugo Weaving starts attacking the wall, and then the girl and the guy get back into London and end up, stopping him. And that's how it ends. There's not going to be a sequel. Don't worry if I ruined it for you.
Cost a fortune. Yeah.
Yeah, it was terrible. I mean, visually, Hugo Weaving was good. The girl can't act either. You talk about Charlie Hunnam. She's same expression, happy, sad, or whatever.
Yeah.
Always pissed off and always. The guy is fine. He's the one from Umbrella Academy, so he has a range. But her, she was rough. I don't know where they found her. Send her back.
So it's a big no-go on this one.
No.
Do you even recommend it's a rental or straight up wait till HBO?
HBO or TNT.
Yeah, wow.
That's what. Just look at it and go, oh, that is pretty.
Yeah.
And then just zone out and don't watch the rest because it was about 2 hours and 15 minutes. It felt like 3.5. So I give this one a 4, maybe. That's being nice.
Wow.
Let's see. Graphics, Hugo Weaving, the planes,
the
guy,
Weta workshop stuff. Yeah.
So that's 4. That's 4 points. 4 points out of 10. That's what I give it. So that's what Rob couldn't explain. I had to watch it, and so I could at least explain it. But yeah, so there you go. Mortal Engines. Now the other one I saw, and this is probably the best one I saw over the week. White Boy Rick. Bill, you familiar with this?
I am, and I actually want to see that movie. I meant to see it at the theater, just didn't get there, but we'll see it before too long.
I don't know about.
It's got Detroit ties, correct?
Yeah.
I remember the story when we were kids at the time.
Yeah, I will tell you what, if that story is true, screw him. He needs to stay in jail. But if the movie captured exactly what they say, then he's a dumbass and deserves to stay in jail.
I don't know much about the story.
So this is back
broad stroke because I'm with BV. I definitely am interested in this movie.
Yeah, this is 1984.
Okay. Is Matthew McConaughey playing White Boy Rick?
No, he's playing his father.
Okay, and there's a young kid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rick Hershey is his name. Rick Hershey, sorry.
Yeah.
I forgot the father's name, Mr. Hershey, whatever.
Mr. Hershey.
He's got a mullet and a big old porn stash. Matthew McConaughey steals this movie. He's my favorite part. Total deadbeat, living in Detroit, gonna make it big somehow. So what he does, he goes to Ohio, Indiana, Wisconsin to local gun shows there, and he finds guys that are selling, stuff that's not supposed to be sold.
The gun show loophole.
Yeah. So the one guy's selling AKs and claiming they're Russian, but actually they're Egyptian. So he squirrels them out of like 3 AKs for $150.
Okay.
So that's what he does. He scams gun dealers, loads them in his trunk, comes back to Detroit, goes down to his basement, and starts metalworking a silencer for these things.
Jeez.
And he makes silencers for them, and then turns around and sells them to all the local drug dealers.
Oh, wow.
That's what his sons do, or what he's doing. And then he puts all the AKs in a bag and hands them to his son. Go over there and sell them.
Jeez.
And meanwhile, his daughter's like a burnt-out druggie also.
Oh.
So it's like, you think he wouldn't be trying to sell guns to the local drug dealer? And, of course, Rick Hershey gets involved in all of it, befriends half the drug dealer. He starts selling drugs. And the feds are on to his dad.
Okay.
They know he's a deadbeat and he's not supposed to be doing this shit. So they rope his son into helping them. Of course, the local drug dealer finds out he's working with the feds. They shoot Rick Hershey, White Boy Rick, in the gut. So there's his out, right? Right after that, the feds busted all the local drug dealers and everything. There's his out. He's done. Come back. He's got a shit bag for a while, too. That's pretty funny. Yeah, and so you think, okay, well, he gets his life. No, then he takes over the drug dealing stuff there.
Geez.
And that's how he gets busted, and that's why he's in jail to this day. So how do you feel sorry for a guy where you had an out, and then he turns around and starts selling drugs again? So
yeah,
it's
I know that
they're
they're pushing Matthew McConaughey in that movie. Like I saw.
Oh, he was great in
and
it.
everything.
He was funny. He's got a mullet. His big dream was to open a video store in 1987.
Oh, where's Randy?
Yeah, no, I was cracking up.
Could have been Westland Businessman of the Year.
Highly recommend the movie. I give it about a 7 or an 8. It was very enjoyable. And a lot of Detroit references. Like the one drug dealer is actually married to Coleman Young's niece.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they go to the Manubian Mansion for a wedding.
So you
and
can see the Detroit ties.
Oh, yeah, tons of Detroit ties to it. Very enjoyable. I like the movie. And like I said, his father steals the show. Matthew McConaughey steals the show on that one. So White Boy Rick, about Rick Hershey, still in jail to this day since the 80s. And they put up a big thing at the end about, he's been in prison longer than the actual drug dealers that got busted.
Oh, jeez.
So supposed to feel sorry for him. So what is this last one we're talking about here, Charles?
So this is Can You Ever Forgive Me? This is the thing that Melissa McCarthy got nominated for all the Oscars for.
Did this come out on DVD?
It just came out,
must
and
have missed
we went to Family Video, and it was out, so I ended up streaming it and stuff like that. But so this, I think I'm in love with Melissa McCarthy, and not like that, but like I want to love all of her movies. I really do, and we've chronicled that. I think Melissa McCarthy is like a national treasure and stuff like that. Like she's
like
hilarious.
a female rock. You want?
Yeah, I do. I love Melissa
Want to
McCarthy.
love her movies.
And this movie's really good. It's like her like later in life Robin Williams serious type movies.
Mm-hmm.
But like so in this movie, she's an author in New York. She has very little success. She's published a book here or there, but like she's struggling to get her next stuff. She's a real big like closet or like a real hermit and all this kind of stuff. So she's down on her luck. She has no cash. She happens to have like an Audrey Hepburn autograph or something like that. I forget what is something like that, but she sells it. So then this chick figures out, oh snap, I could start just forging these letters from all these authors and selling it to all these like bookstores. So that's how she starts like making her money. And then eventually like the feds get tipped on to her. And then that's the whole story. So basically it just shows you how this little lady ended up like, fraudulently putting out all these like, forged letters for all these authors and all this kind of stuff.
Is it based on a true story?
It is.
Oh,
yeah. Wow. It was a really good movie, but the nice part was it showed that usual like Jim Carrey, again, Robin Williams, that like a lot of these funny actors and actresses also have some range to them. Yeah. So she was like super serious in it, but like you really believed her and stuff like that. And I thought it was a great movie. The guy that played opposite of her, a guy that played a character named Jack Mock that was in it, who kind of befriended her in a weird way. He was like another like offshoot writer. He actually got caught up in with her, and then it shows you how he was one of the main people. Like, so he was taking the works after she got busted so much. She was taking those letters and then selling them on, or he was for her. And it was a really good movie. It was about a 2-hour-long movie. It was one of those movies that was set in New York. And do you know what I'm talking about? Those like Woody Allen, like extra New York movies that you really kind of hate.
Yeah.
This was a New York movie, but it wasn't like over the top. Does that make sense? Yeah. So it was really, it was an enjoyable movie. I like Melissa McCarthy. I don't like the fact that she shoehorns in her husband into it because he
showed up in it.
He's in this one. He plays a dirtbag. He knows they're like forges, and the FBI shows up for him. So he goes, I'm not going to rat on you. Just give me $5,000 and I won't rat on you. Wow. Then she's hustling to make this money and stuff like that. It was a really enjoyable movie. And it was her character's name is Lee Israel. And she actually was a writer, an author rather, who got caught up in this. And then they also tell you like how some of her forged letters ended up in some of like the biographies for like real authors and stuff like that. Because she got so prolific. She had like 30 different typewriters in her apartment where she would use different typewriters and all this kind of stuff. It was a really entertaining movie.
Was it as good as St. Vincent, that movie she was in with Bill Murray?
I really like Bill Murray, though. I'm skewed, so that's another one that like.
I thought that was a really good movie.
Bill Murray can do no wrong to me, you know what I mean? But like, it's
Life Aquatic was.
Dude, I don't care. Bill Murray's hilarious to me. I can't. I'm obsessed with that dude. But
St. Vincent wasn't really a comedy, though.
I know, but she played just kind of like that mom of the kid next door and stuff like that. But it was whereas that was kind of lighthearted. This was just literally a slice of this lady's life and how she was doing the forgeries and stuff like that. It didn't even try to be lighthearted. You know what I mean? It was just a
scale 1 to 10. What are you giving it?
I would give it a solid 7 or an 8. You know what I mean? Like it's not something you got to run off, but it's definitely worth a rental. If you get a chance, check it out on like a Blu-ray or streaming service. I definitely would recommend that. And like I said, that's what she got nominated for, and you can see how good she is in it. She really is top notch as far as her ability.
Bill, what do you think of Melissa McCarthy?
I like her. I don't know that I like her in everything, but
yeah, you're right.
I think she mostly does better in movies where she can play off others and doesn't have to carry it as the main star. But yeah. I haven't seen her more serious work though either. So
she's like the female Rock. It's like I just wish she'd be in so much better movies than she's in.
Dude, I tell you this, as soon as I saw Melissa McCarthy on Saturday Night Live, I'm like, I love this woman.
Yeah,
like
she really tried.
That SNL stuff is some of the funniest Saturday Night Live stuff I've ever seen. It's just hilarious. So, anyway, big fan of that movie.
So, Triple Frontier, watch it if you're bored. Afterlife, it's a dark British comedy if you into that kind of thing. Mortal Engine, just stay away from it. White Boy Rick, very enjoyable, and Can You Ever Forgive Me, also enjoyable, so might want to check both of those out. That's our movies and TV shows for the week. Now my favorite section always is my 3 minutes / plus a little bit more. Bill, what are your thoughts on wrestling on this wind down before WrestleMania so far?
It's going in weird directions. I mean, it's slow, but they seem to be ruining any momentum they had with characters.
How so? Do you like? What's a for example that they're going in a weird direction?
I know what he's talking about.
Well, I mean, a couple of the two, I'd say, kind of hottest characters over the last month or so. You guys have talked before about the Becky Lynch thing.
Yeah,
and they were putting her in very much a Stone Cold-esque kind of scenario, and then suddenly she gets a knee injury at Royal Rumble, and she can barely walk, and Vince McMahon's screwing her out of her title match, and then they've gone everything from her beating on Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey with a crutch to suddenly Ronda turning heels, out of nowhere a week or two ago, and beating the crap out of her, and it's sort of and turned into some goofy triple threat match where they already had. I mean, 1-on-1 would have been a big, kind of main event kind of match with Becky and Ronda, because they were the two of the three most popular people in the division or the league. I mean, male or female. And now they've just sort of convoluted it into a story that's hard to follow. And then on SmackDown, Kofi Kingston got he was subbed into a match about a month ago, last minute, because Mustafa Ali was hurt, and he ends up going like an hour in this the
gauntlet match.
In the gauntlet match, and then he had a real big showing at the Elimination Chamber, and he pins Daniel Bryan a couple of times, and then suddenly Vince McMahon decides to screw him too, and replaces him with Kevin Owens, which was supposed to be at WrestleMania, and then suddenly that gets changed, and they did it this most recent pay-per-view, and he tells him he's making a triple threat match, then McMahon sends Kofi out there to get a handicap match with the Bar, and just gets the crap beat out of him, and now he has to beat 5 top stars in a gauntlet match next week in order to get into WrestleMania for a championship match. So they actually then switched the Stone Cold kind of angle over to Kingston, except Kingston's still being super respectful. He's not even demanding anything.
It's weird. Now,
here's
my other one.
They're twisting it all around, and they're taking any real interest. I can't think of a single match that I'm particularly excited about watching at this.
You remember us talking about Braun Strowman, right?
Yeah.
They're literally putting him in a feud with the guys from Weekend Update on Saturday Night Live.
The Colin Jost or Michael Che?
The
white guy or the
white guy?
Colin Jost?
Kind of both now, though.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
what does one have to do with the other? How does that even? I don't.
Those two guys are going to be at WrestleMania. They're like co-hosts or something. I don't know, celebrity hosts. Okay. And they were on an episode of Raw, and then the white guy told Braun Strowman, "Oh, wrestling's still fake, right?" And Strowman held him up by his throat. And then the next week, they bought him a car, Strowman. This is what they do with Strowman every week. He beats up a car every week. It's so annoying. So whatever momentum this big monster guy has, he's literally going to be wrestling a Saturday Night Live guy at WrestleMania.
What?
I swear to God, that's what they're setting up.
So stupid.
It's dumb. I was like, are you serious? This is what they're doing with this guy? Did you catch that, Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally stupid. So it is kind of slow, and they're setting up a couple matches. One I look forward to is probably AJ Styles versus Randy Orton. That's probably going to be a pretty good match. I think so. And then
the last time you said AJ Styles is going to be a pretty good
I
match.
know.
It was god awful.
I hope I don't.
So don't write a check you can't cash.
Yeah, I hope not. I hope it's not god awful again. And then Batista and Triple H should be interesting. That's set up pretty much now. So that even though they're older guys and the younger generation probably don't give a shit, but I like those guys, so that's fine. And then also Angle did come out last week on Raw and announce he's finally retiring, which he probably should have done 2 years ago.
He can't move, right?
No,
At this point, he's fused together.
He's a giant robot. I don't know. Who do you think he's going to wrestle, Bill? Is it going to be Undertaker? Are they going to whip out on?
The talk right now is either Cena or Shelton Benjamin.
Shelton
Because he has history with him.
No one's gonna care about that.
I don't even know who that is.
He's a good wrestler. He's been like a nobody for years now.
He's been I think he wrestled with Brock Lesnar at Minnesota, and I know they've been kind of training partners. And he came around about the same time Lesnar did in the beginning. It's sort of a group that had sort of legitimacy with their backgrounds and whatnot. But he's been basically a mid-low card nothing.
Yeah.
His entire career.
It'd have to be Cena because no one's going to care about Shelton Benjamin.
Dude,
that one would be terrible. And so let Cena put him out and put him over or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, but that's the wrestling. Now, the other one I'm going to bring up is online. All you hear is about this AEW.
Yeah, and you said they're supposed to be, and I saw your note. You two told me that they were supposed to start working out some details.
And nothing. they put out these random YouTube videos once a couple weeks or something,
But they're just
I don't
not
even
giving
watch
you no
them.
info. Huh?
There's no matches on these videos or anything, so I'm just like,
Is
I don't
it like
care.
sizzle reels? Is it a lot of like talking?
It's Cody. It's usually Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks are sitting around a table talking about something, or
like
I don't
in
know.
character talking.
Yeah, it's usually in
Okay.
character, I believe. And then Jericho's been on a couple of them. There's no matches or nothing. There's no TV announcement yet. And then their big pay-per-view is May 25th at the MGM, Double or Nothing. I don't understand the hype right now. I really don't. They better get off their asses and start doing
So let me
something.
ask the question to you two: should we get that pay-per-view and check it out? Is that the big theory?
Not for
Is that-
$60.
It's
If
$60.
I don't know, but I'm assuming it will be. What do you think
man.
it'll cost, Bill?
I think it'll be along the lines of any other pay-per-view. So it'll probably be one of those things where it's $60 or $70, and then that extra $10 if you want HD, which still makes no sense to me at all. But
Yeah, that's gay. What are your
they've
thoughts on
been in
AEW?
talks with a big network with some sort of major network now for about 2 months, and nothing's been announced.
Yeah,
so,
nothing.
You said they were
knows?
supposed to come out like that.
That's
was
what
the
I thought. It was the
Yeah,
first. They made all
there
these
were-
announcements on January 1st, and we still haven't heard nothing.
Huh.
Yeah, there's been this kind of buzz about them getting a major network deal or major cable network deal for the last 3 months now, and nothing's happened yet. So
Yeah, I don't know. It's time to shit or get off the pot, man.
No,
That's,
wow.
Yeah,
Steve's out.
yeah, I'm losing
either
interest
way,
quick.
this is going to be a niche thing. It's not the idea that they're going to ever really compete with WWE. I think is kind of ridiculous. I mean, this is going to be like it's going to fill that void between WWE and things like Ring of Honor or New Japan Pro Wrestling, where I can't imagine it being any larger at any point than say TNA was
It's
at
just,
one point.
it's just annoying because every website, like when a WWE wrestler's like not happy with his contract, oh, he's going to AEW.
Oh, they
he's
just
going.
jump
That's where
in,
they're
yeah.
going. It's like, really, you gonna go? What's
That's
he gonna
the
do?
threat.
Make YouTube videos?
So the UFC threat is they'll go to Bellator.
yeah. Well, they're gonna go to a league that doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, though, is that McMahon is cutting, from what I understand, McMahon is basically not releasing anyone that has enough juice to go compete against him. So, I mean, there was that Revival who recently got the Raw Tag Championships and have had them now for maybe almost a month. They had requested their release because they didn't like their creative direction, and they apparently have a long history with like the Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes and whatnot. So the thought was they wanted to be released to go there, and that McMahon has basically said he'll just pay guys to do nothing if he has anything to do with them, just
He's
to keep
just
them from going
tying them
somewhere
up,
else.
tying up the competition. Yeah.
Well, he actually
So-
gave him the titles. They bitched, wanted to leave, and then all right,
Yeah.
you're champs. That's what he did.
But that's so bad, man.
Yeah.
Like that's, you know what I mean? Like
But
so.
they're actually a good tag team.
Yeah, but
In
what
their
I'm trying to
defense.
say is, so you've looked at them and you said, "Hey, look, you guys aren't good enough for me to do anything cool creatively with you, so I'm squandering you."
Yeah.
But then the minute you check me, I'm like, "Well, then I'll leave." Well, okay, then here, have this. And shut up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that's the direction of your company. Like, yeah,
It's true.
I don't know.
But yeah, AEW, all this hype, it's mostly online hype. No one outside of the online wrestling trolls even know about AEW.
Yeah,
Like
well,
me,
you
me and
couldn't
Bill
at
and
this
maybe
point.
Gabe a little
Outside of the main, you could, unless you trolled on websites, you wouldn't know because there's
Yeah.
been no announcements. There's
Yeah,
been no
there-
concrete anything.
bit. Just YouTube videos here and there.
Yeah.
And it's not even of them wrestling, so I don't know what the hell.
So I mean, like we often talk about, like out of 10, like how hyped are you, or how interested are you in the AEW at this point?
Not enough to pay $60 for a pay-per-view.
So give it to me out of 10. Like, what are
if
you?
they came at $30 for a pay-per-view,
You'd pay for it?
I'd pay for it.
Okay.
60? Hell no. To watch mid-card guys that got canned from WWE?
But you got to know what the product is, right? Like, out of curiosity.
Yeah, out of curiosity. But I read enough websites that I'll just find out, and they'll tell me if the matches sucked or whatever was good. I already know Jericho. I've seen him wrestle a million times. What's he going to do in a match I haven't seen already? You know? So I don't know.
BV, what are you thinking? Like, what are you? Where are you
as far as overall excitement right now, maybe a 3 or a 4. I mean, it's waned quite a bit.
I feel like they did lose a lot of momentum.
Yeah.
They really did.
You should have announced
And
the TV
Double or
deal
Nothing
right
has
away.
been in the works now. The Double or Nothing was in the works before they connected with the Khan family. That was just a follow up to the All In pay-per-view that
was the
Rhodes
big
and
one in
Young Bucks put
Chicago.
together last year. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
That's
So that was
looking more
already
like a
going to be
fluke.
happening anyway. I don't know. The match that I think the expectation is that the best match from that pay-per-view will likely be, and Steve, I don't know how much you've seen of the New Japan stuff, but Chris Jericho is likely to be going up against Kenny Omega, who was the New Japan champion for a while, and his contract ended about the same time that some of the others did, and then he recently joined AEW. It should be a good match, but it should be basically like all the matches that Jericho had against guys in New Japan anyway. So,
I mean, more power to all the wrestlers that joined AEW and are sitting around doing nothing, getting paid. I congratulate them, but I don't understand
You're
why I
winning,
should.
but yeah.
As a fan, I don't understand why I should be excited.
Yeah.
I'm not going to run out and buy an AEW T-shirt just because they may have a pay-per-view 10 years from now.
Now, on a lighter note, let me ask BV. Are you hardcore back into like pro wrestling at this point, BV? Like, because we've talked about like I got really back into UFC because all the other sports start to wane and all that kind of stuff. BV sounds really, and I think it has a lot to do with the one. Was it the Bloody Elbow? What was the one?
oh, the radio show.
Yeah,
I hear a lot about it through Busted Open and whatnot.
Busted Open,
I don't follow it. There's a couple things on. There's a couple channels on YouTube that'll have updates on news and whatnot that I'll check out every once in a while. But I mean, I DVR the two shows and I'll watch those, and I have the network, so I'll watch pay-per-views. But I wouldn't say. I mean, I know what's going on. I wouldn't say that I'm really that hardcore. It's something to watch. I mean, it's not. I mean, honestly, it hasn't been all that exciting for.
I got a gripe
basically
about
the
that.
year that I've been back into it.
About the network?
Yeah, I'm going to gripe about that network. I realize once you crack through about a month's worth of content, there's nothing left on there.
Okay.
I mean, unlike Netflix, always has something. I mean, unless you want to watch like 1995 WCW pay-per-view or something. I mean,
BV's got his hand raised right now.
Well, they
BV's
have,
like, I'm
they
going to do
have
it.
certain.
their shows aren't consistent. So they'll have a show, like there's one with JBL where he sits around and talks to people, and I liked it, and I just re-signed up for the network or whatever, and I watched the 4 or 5 episodes they had, and I'm like, let me watch that again. The last episode was from 2014. It's like the Stone Cold podcast. Now Stone Cold lives, breathes, eats, that. His last one was from 2017.
So let me pause you because the same gripe you have right now about the WWE network having gone back full in on Fight Pass for UFC is the same complaint for me. So now ESPN is this big home for UFC stuff. All their fight nights are on ESPN Plus. So why do I get the Fight Pass if there's no exclusive content really anymore? Yeah, I know what you're saying. So it's like,
I mean, outside of like
these
collection,
services are tough, dude. It's like
Yeah.
I feel like all these services when they're conceived or in their inception very early on, they just pour, and all of us are just like eating it up. And then 3 years happen, 4 years happen,
And
and
they
like
just
you
stop.
said, it's
especially the WWE, there's so many shows that just stopped. Like Stone Cold's podcast, he still does a podcast every week.
why are you not just reposting?
Yeah, why is he not on there every week?
Yeah.
Bruce Pritchard's another one. He played Dude Love back in the
Okay,
day.
yeah.
He's always been a big behind the scenes wrestler.
Okay.
He has a
Wait,
podcast.
Brother Love?
Yeah, sorry, Brother Love, you're right.
I knew who you meant though.
I love you. You remember him? But anyways, he's behind the scenes a lot. He's got a podcast that has tons of listeners.
Where's that content?
Yeah,
Where's
and,
that?
and for some reason, they can't work out the rights. Where's the recent Raws? They don't even have recent Raws on there. So they really got to get steady with their content. I mean, Edge and Christian show, but it's like Dad's doing humor. It's so bad. I feel like Holly when I watch that show. Those guys were funny in their prime in wrestling, but when a half-hour comedy show, they're not that great.
I still stand by that the content. I get your gripe on the content. I'm definitely with you on the UFC stuff. Same thing. But that pay-per-view thing, that's the one thing that makes it worthwhile. I still feel that way.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying it's not great value still, especially if you watch the pay-per-views. But like the 24/7s are really great. I told you about that one where they follow the wrestlers before WrestleMania.
It's fantastic.
Where's some more of that? There's like
I
one
love that
episode of that.
behind-the-scenes
Yeah,
stuff, yeah.
So it's like come
Embedded
on.
is the show on UFC.
Yeah, it's like let's get. I mean, they're already got cameras in their face 24/7 anyway. Just make some shows about it. Well, what do we got? I got that bad animated show that Seth Green made for him. It's terrible. Nobody watches that. And then, like I said, Edge and Chris. But anyway, that was my gripe about it. It's still worth it because
so now,
of the pay-per-views.
does BV, do you subscribe to the network independent of Steve? Because Bob just steals Steve's login.
Yeah, no, I have my own. I have my own.
And do you think, would you co-sign Steve's theory on the WWE network too?
Well,
do you feel the same way?
I don't want. I mean, I'll occasionally watch some of their original shows. What makes me a little different than, in my opinion, a little different than Steve's is that, I go back to the time when from the time I was about 10 years old till about the time we all took a pause after the Attitude Era, I was a complete wrestling nut. And so they have opened archives, and there are certain like old territory stuff that I used to. I remember I'd be like 8, 9 years old, and I'd be moving my antenna around so that I could get like channel 38, so I could
Well,
see
hold on.
Mid-South
So you're
and
telling me
AWA and all that kind of stuff, and they've released a lot of that. So I go back and I'm watching like
right now in
Mid-South
2019,
stuff
you're
from
watching
82
that.
and 3 and.
He's watching. So hold on a random Tuesday night when there's nothing on the tube. You'll kick on the WWE network and kick some old school, just like watch a little something that you remember.
Every once in a while, yeah.
It's crazy.
Or I'll watch some old, some old NW, like before the Ted Turner WCW. Like I'll watch like the old NWA paper. I'll watch like Starrcade '84 or something. I'll watch like Nikita Koloff and.
What I end up there's a thing called collections on there. So they'll pick one wrestler and put like
it's
10.
very similar on Fight Pass.
Yeah. There's an Andre the Giant one, and I caught myself watching that one. It's from like
it's chronicling matches into matches into matches.
Yeah, it was like 74, 70.
Exactly.
It was like 74 through like 1980. Yeah. They were some of the most terrible matches I've ever seen in my life.
But BV would be all in.
Oh, it was so bad. There was not a move to be seen. Wow. One was a 6-fall match. It was a 6-man tag. I've never heard of a 6-fall match. It's like Chief Stray Youngblood or whatever his name is.
Chief Jay Strongbow?
Yeah, that's it. And then Andre, and oh my God, it was terrible.
So without that back catalog, though, that's the big value to you, is what you're saying.
Yeah, although to be honest, I originally planned to have it just for a few months and cancel it, and then I just forgot to cancel it, and it's just so now it's become because they have the pay-per-views, it's now a convenience, and so
I do like me and keep it till WrestleMania and then can it the next day after WrestleMania.
It's one of those things where I don't notice the $10 and I don't think about it, so I just gave up on
companies love
canceling it.
Companies love it.
Yeah, Planet Fitness made a business model.
Yeah.
All right, so that's a little wrestling. Now let's go into 128 seconds of MMA.
Yeah, so, and you brought this up, so this is the big MMA talk for the week. So Conor McGregor was down in Miami.
At 5 a.m.
Grabbed some idiot's phone, and being a tough guy that Conor McGregor is, smashed it. Now, the thing that drives me crazy about this
what are the details? Are there any details by this? Was the guy really doing anything?
I think the guy was probably pushing up on him, and Conor McGregor, being a mouthy ass, probably was like, just back up, dude, back up, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then like grabbed it and said, I'll show you smash it, because he smashed it hard. That's on TMZ. But my thing is, at this point, you're Conor McGregor. You travel with security. Have your security guys take care of it. Like, that's what Floyd Mayweather does. You're an idiot to Floyd Mayweather. He doesn't swing on you. You know what I mean? He's got 2 huge goons that just take care of whatever he needs to. So to me, Conor's got that kind of money where it's like, dude, get the goon squad to take care of these dudes. I don't get it. Not to mention, you don't live here, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you got to come over here on work visas and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you're gambling with your future if you're going to get where you can't come to this country freely is just crazy to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've got so many business ties. You can't be doing this dumb shit. It always bums me out. And people are like, oh, that's kind of, but that's you being an idiot, man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, you're not thinking big picture if you're doing something like that. And that always is just like, I'm like you guys with wrestling. I'm a big MMA guy. Don't drag the sport down. You're already trying to get like legitimize it and all this kind of stuff. If you look like goons, all it is going to make someone like a John McCain, who's no longer around, but when they call it human cockfighting, he looks right. You know what I mean? Like, and if you're trying to legitimize it, you can't be doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, funny you mentioned Conor McGregor. I don't know if Bill noticed during Raw. Well, he DVRs it, but his Proper 12 whiskey commercial's been showing up in rotation quite a bit on Raw lately.
Man, he's knows
I haven't
his
seen
bread's
that
buttered,
commercial in a while, and all of a sudden, he's back.
Well, he did a big push, so he just got a new release of a new batch, and he's in a couple different countries. So he was at like Boston for the big parade for St. Patty's Day this weekend. So he's definitely out there pimping the product. So imagine you start to have visa issues.
Yeah.
You can't do that. So that's my thing is like smarten up. You know what I mean? I don't want to be Dana White to him, but like, dude, what are you doing? You know? And then the other thing that I was going to talk to you about, there's a couple other things. Big UFC fight night happened on Saturday. It was in London. Man, those crowds in London are great, man. They are just so the whole even in preliminary fights are just on their feet going crazy. They just love fighting over there, man. I don't know what is going on.
I think I've told you before, the Raw after WrestleMania is loaded with British and people from overseas, the fans.
Okay.
And they take over the show.
Dude, it's crazy.
They just start chanting weird shit all
These
the time.
guys, I don't know if they're getting hammered or what, but they are just having a blast.
Yeah,
I'm like, because we went from like the weird crowd, like I told you guys in Kansas City the week before, where they were booing every foreign person, to this, where like, man, these London guys are bracing everyone. Like, let's fight, knuckle up, come on. It's like, these guys are crazy. So the big fight in this one was a guy named Darren Till fought a guy named Jorge Masvidal. And this Darren Till guy was like supposed to be the future of welterweights. The Masvidal guys starched the hell out of him. It was great. That's the one thing I love about MMA. They did, like, the world doesn't care that, like, the UFC's pushing you. It's not like WWE where it's like, hey, look, no matter what you do, no, you get dropped, son. It don't matter. I love that kind of stuff. So that was a good fight, really good end to it. The rest of the card was really kind of boring, but again, that UK crowd, man, I got to give ups to them. They're really good.
When those British fans come over here for WrestleMania and the Raw, it's terrific.
Dude, it is. It's really good. And I'm realizing that's probably what makes like a Conor McGregor fight so good is because those UK fans travel over here and just blow it up. It's man, they know how to watch a sporting event. I feel bad that they're wasting it on soccer.
That's true. Why you got wasted on soccer?
Yeah. So the other thing too is I caught another bare knuckle. I was showing BV and Steve a little bit before the bare knuckle that was in the UK. The bare knuckle boxing is as they call it. It's the UK version of the bare knuckle fighting championship. This one wasn't as good, not as crisp a fight. BV brought it up, different ring style, not as good of a product as I think the bare knuckle fighting.
I think that one has more money though.
It very well could because bare knuckle fighting is huge in the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
But I just think that the product is better. The bare knuckle fighting championship product is a little bit better for me. And then the other thing I was going to bring up too, one of the good things that back to BV talked about, like his deep cuts that he's pulling out of the WWE. One of the things I got turned on to this past week, and I forgot to put it in the show notes, on UFC Fight Pass, they have Glory Kickboxing. Oh, my God, Steve. This is another one I need to be the Joe Rogan of. This is great, too. So, like, if you like the stand-up of UFC and hate the stuff when they get into the jiu-jitsu on the ground, it's all just stand-up. These guys are doing spinning back kicks and all kinds of craziness. That's on the Fight Pass. They actually bring up the pay-per-views for the Glory pay-per-view stuff. I watched like 5 of those pay-per-views, man. I got sucked right in.
Oh,
so
man.
it's really good, man. People getting dropped.
Did you used to watch K1?
It's very similar, BB. It's very similar to K1.
No, I've seen some Glory stuff on cable back
They
in
do
the
that
day.
shit where they keep their hands up like this.
Dude, it is like Street Fighter. It is exactly like Street Fighter.
It's like Sagat. He's out there. Anyone have an eye patch?
There's chicks doing it and stuff like that. If you have Fight Pass, because like Steve said, I agree, the UFC is very similar. It's pretty lean on the UFC content. I was all in for a year on ESPN Plus and that UFC Fight Pass, so I kind of was just, I'm digging a little deeper, and man, I love that Glory stuff when I started kicking on it. It was really good stuff.
Hey Charles, did you see Masvidal jack up Leon Edwards backstage?
Oh
afterwards?
yeah, so that was another big thing too. So, man, I don't know if it was the electric crowd again. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, there was some extracurriculars in the back. Again, I don't condone that stuff because that brings the sport down again. But it was pretty crazy to watch. He went right after him. He was real super calm and then just went right because they were exchanging words and he just went over and they just started throwing. He threw pop right out. And I was like, oh my God.
Dang.
So,
Yeah, he cut him open too.
yeah, it was crazy.
So there you go, some MMA, some wrestling, like we always cover. No basketball playoffs. We don't care. So now the other thing this time of year, besides wrestling and MMA and March Madness, is NFL free agency kicks off.
Yeah. This past week has been complete insanity.
And we are located in Dearborn, Michigan, which is a suburb of Detroit, Detroit Lions. And our own Detroit Lions were very busy in this free agency this past
Were they,
year.
or were they just kind of taking the Patriots' leftovers?
Well, they were very busy trying to be the Patriots
Yes.
Midwest.
Which, and I was talking to a guy at work, and I'm sure BV has thoughts on this. People who leave the Patriots are never usually that successful.
No.
Usually, if the Patriots let you go, there's a reason why you were let go.
Bill, who was the defensive end that went to the Raiders from the Patriots back in the day? I can't think of his name.
Are you talking about Richard Sherman?
Was it Richard Sherman? Yeah, he pretty much died in the Raiders and never returned. He was,
Richard Sherman's the DB from Seattle. Who are you talking about?
before that.
Oh.
This is probably
No. I'm sorry, Richard Seymour. Sorry about
Seymour,
that.
yeah, I'm
This
like,
probably
Rich-
2005,
Okay,
2006.
yeah.
Yeah, he was a big time defensive end for the Patriots, and they traded him to the Raiders like mid career.
Here's your bank. Yeah.
and he just disappeared.
Yeah.
He just died
I
in the
mean,
Raiders.
it's one of those things where like it's funny because like there's Detroit fans are very polarized in this scenario. I would say I don't know if
Yeah.
you guys have a different take, but it's like I said, there's a lot of optimism, but then there's a lot of like realists who are like,
Well, the Lions win the offseason every year.
yeah,
So, if anyone hasn't heard, the Lions signed Trey Flowers. I don't have the money deals down.
Jesse James,
Jesse James, who's
sellout.
the only non-Patriot. Danny
He is dead to
Amendola
me. No.
and Justin Coleman. Amendola's a receiver. Jesse James is a tight end. Trey Flowers is a linebacker, and Justin Coleman is a cornerback. They gave a lot of big money to these guys,
Yeah.
which is unusual for the Lions. They usually don't do that kind of thing. My only argument is you let Kareem Hunt slip and go to Cleveland.
Yeah.
You don't even try for Antonio Brown. You don't try for Beckham. So if you really wanted to make a huge splash, why didn't you go for some of these bigger names? And they didn't. So I don't know. What do I know? Le'Veon Bell would have looked nice in a Lions uniform, because that running back the Lions have right now can't make it past 5 games. So I like the guy, but he can't. Bill, what are your thoughts on the Lions signings?
They're pretty much insignificant.
Wow, damn.
I mean, some of the stuff. Well, no, because some of the stuff with the Patriots, right? I mean, they either, guys that they just don't want to pay for whatever reason because they're allocating money somewhere else, or guys like Amendola, who is the ultimate system receiver, who already had problems staying on the field in New England. Where was he before that? The Rams, I think.
I think he went to
before
Miami.
He went to Miami.
Yeah.
He was, but I mean, he was always knocked around, and he's probably probably double-digit concussions at this point. What I don't understand is where do the Lions think that they have the offense that's going to make the proper use of him? I mean, he's not someone you can just put in the slot in a regular offense, and he's going to be. I mean, he's basically Wes
safety valve,
Welker and Julian Edelman light. And I mean, you have to have a really precise offense that can run run the same kind of offense that the Patriots do. Otherwise, he's just a slow slot possession receiver that's going to get the hell beat out of him. I'd be shocked if he made it through the first quarter of the year without being out, with concussions or whatever.
He signed a 1-year deal here, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, Jesse James. Okay, so he had a few good.
He's a decent tight end at Pitt, though.
Yeah, he's decent.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Here's an idea that they could have not just cut bait on Eric Ebron, who suddenly is now a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, exactly. The Colts, he really lit up.
And without an offensive line, none of that's going to matter anyway. Or, and without a running game,
Yeah.
They would be better off, I think, looking to, I mean, don't get me wrong, they need defensive players, but I think offensively they would be better off focusing on interior linemen and shoring up the core part of that offense instead of just trying to get a couple names at skill spots and think that that's going to solve their problems.
Well, they won the offseason here. People are abuzz about it on the radio and are excited.
Yeah, I
and
think it's kind of back and forth.
I don't know. Well, time will tell, I guess. But there was a lot of big names out there that you didn't even hear about the Lions trying for.
Well,
so.
and then you kind of listed a handful. So the Nick Foles thing to the Jaguars, they paid him a freaking Brinks truck.
I don't know, man. Are you sold on Nick Foles?
No, I don't know. And then the Le'Veon to the Jets. Anyone have any thoughts or theories on that? I mean,
is he going to be in shape? I heard he got fat.
I have no idea.
Well, his year off. No, he gained like 20 pounds. I mean, they're professionals, I imagine. This Earl Thomas, the Ravens. He was from the Seahawks. Landon Collins, he was that Giants guy that went to the Redskins. And of course,
that make a lot of sense.
And this one here, the Odell Beckham Jr. traded to the Browns.
Are the Giants just giving up? That's what I have to wonder. So Saquon Barkley is just going to get the hell beat out.
Yeah, I don't know. He's not going to have a long career.
Oh my God!
It's going to be him and fucking and Peyton and
Oh
Eli
my
Manning.
God!
They're going to get slaughtered. It's not even going to be pretty in New York. That's what is that? A 2-14 team right now?
They did sign Golden Tate.
Well, they got that going for them.
Great.
Any thoughts on free agency, Bill? On what you think on some of these signings?
I'm perplexed by the whole Nick Foles thing. It amazes me how teams never learn their lesson on it. Nick Foles, with the exception of a couple short stretches of games over the last 2 seasons, has been an average at best quarterback his entire career. He did not suddenly become a top 10 guy.
They're paying him like it. I got news.
And over the long haul, I bet you that I'd be willing to bet that his overall impact and numbers will only be slightly better than Blake Bortles, who they just let go.
Yeah, you're probably right on that one. Yeah, and the other one that's not on the list was earlier before, I think Flacco went to the Denver Broncos.
Yes.
So that means Case Keenum didn't work out?
Case Keenum got shipped somewhere, too, I believe.
I don't know.
Yeah, I forget where he ended up.
Yeah,
but
he's somewhere, too. Terrell Suggs is a Cardinal now, too. Right?
Yeah, a one-year deal.
Yeah. So
is that just padding the bank account there?
Yeah.
Is that what that is? Well, I think, is Baltimore going to be any good next year? I mean, they've gutted that team, really. I don't believe in that Lamar Jackson. I watched that playoff game. He was terrible. And now defenses are going to know that he's not going to throw. They're just going to put the spy on the quarterback all over the place. I don't know. I do not believe in Lamar Jackson. Sorry, guys, I don't.
For your Steelers, one thing I've watched, it doesn't seem like very much, but they signed Dante Moncrief for 2 years. And he was real promising back in the end of the Manning years with the Colts, and then he's kind of floated around, but he's got a ton of talent. And if they get him straight, he could be really, really good.
So now I keep hearing the Browns are the favorite for that division.
I mean, at some point, my squad's like 147 years old. Besides Juju Smith-Schuster, who's 15. Other than that, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, and the Ravens are a mess, and Cincinnati, who the hell knows what's happening down there? So yeah, maybe they are the favorites. If favorites at 8-8.
Suddenly that offense, though, in Cleveland looks like it could be really good.
Yeah,
if they can get everything to
click.
Yeah,
but someone did mention that against winning teams, they were 1-5. So I don't know. I don't know if we're going to be too ecstatic about them next year.
The AFC's over. The Dolphins have signed Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Oh man, Fitzmagic into Miami. Oh man, a lot of people wanted him here as a backup to Stafford, but of course the Lions don't do those kind of things because that'd be exciting. So I mean, it'd be exciting for a game or two until he started throwing 5 picks a game. Then you got to bench him. So there you go. A little look at the NFL free agency. When is the draft, Bill?
What about that DK Metcalf guy
at
the combine? Did you guys talk about that at all?
No.
BV, what college? Mississippi something. DK Metcalf is from. I know BV knows it. Anyway, this dude
Don't know.
he's got like 1% body fat, weighs 260 pounds, ran like a 4.340, did 27 reps at 225.
What is he, part horse?
Dude, I don't know what the hell
position
this
does he
is.
play?
He's a wideout.
Wow.
It's
Jeez.
crazy.
That guy can't correct.
Hey, this did you guys see? I know this isn't NFL, but did you
He's from
see that
Ole Miss.
that Johnny Football signed with the Memphis team in AAF?
No,
Oh.
I didn't see that.
Yeah,
I didn't
After he
catch
got
one
kicked
game
out of
this
the
week.
CFL.
I usually
Yeah.
catch one game a weekend. I didn't see any of them this week.
I haven't watched anything since the first or second week, but yeah, I just saw in the news this weekend that he signed with the Memphis team.
So this DK Metcalf, Ole Miss, 6'3", 228, ran a 4.33, 27 reps on the bench. His vertical was 41 inches. Dude, I don't know what this is.
What team did he play for?
Ole Miss? Yeah, dude, it's something crazy.
Oh, okay, yeah, I do know.
Dude, it's crazy.
Yeah, he's pretty sick.
It's pretty. That was one of those things you're just watching, like, wow, that's how you come correct at the combine, son. So, and like I said, like he's down like single digits for body fat, like something just crazy.
Well, I'm in triple digits for body fat. Does that count?
Yeah.
All right, so there's a look at the NFL free agent. Now we're going to go into rapid fire, as we all know. I'll give you some movies and Blu-rays and all that good stuff. I might start adding video games to this
Oh,
list,
okay, that's cool.
since March is a little rough to find content.
Yeah.
You know,
We try to put music, but that's tough too. 'cause-
yeah. It's like the albums aren't really that much anymore. It's more the singles and when they drop. So, of course, yes, I want to see it. No, I don't. Maybe. Or what is that? So first we got only one movie this week, and I've seen the previews for this. It's called Captive State. It's
John Goodman, correct? Is that the John Goodman movie? Who's in this?
I don't know who's in it. A bunch of unknowns. Young black guy. I don't know his name. It's a sci-fi movie where some kind of alien took over the world, and they're trying to fight against it. Called Captive State.
Okay.
It's a low budget sci-fi movie, I believe. Big release.
No, John Goodman's in it. I was right.
Oh, okay. So yeah, he's not in the commercials or trailers for it, but Captive State. I am a no. I'll catch it on Blu-ray. Charles
I believe when I saw the trailer, I said it looked interesting, so I'm going to say yes.
and Bill. What do you think?
No,
No.
I
All
don't
right.
do sci-fi.
That's about it because everyone's trying to hide from Captain Marvel this week. I mean, there's some low budget indies.
Don't want to pause rapid fire by any means, but made a mint.
It did make it. I haven't checked the box office this weekend. I would be interested to see how much it dropped off from week to week. But on Blu-ray this week, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I did see it at the theater. I enjoyed the movie. I will say yes. I want to see it again. Charles, what do you think?
I'm a yes, actually. I think Lorna will like it, and it looked to be really well received, so I'm a yes.
And Bill?
I stopped watching Spider-Man after the Tobey Maguire movies, so no.
Oh, well, there you go. Shocked you wouldn't watch that, Bill. Also on Blu-ray this week, Mary Poppins.
Let me interrupt you for a second. I looked up the Captain Marvel stats, and it's crazy. So domestically, $266 million. They're saying worldwide $760 million.
So it made $155 million last week.
Yeah.
So how much is that this week?
110, let's
110,
say, yeah.
yeah.
That's
That's
crazy.
still pretty good. It's got no competition, so it's going to kill it for another couple of weeks.
Those Marvel movies, man.
Yeah, they'll make money. So Mary Poppins, I'll probably watch it on Blu-ray. I'm a yes, Charles.
For a rental, I'm a yes as well. I'm sure my daughter will like it.
Bill, you singing along with Mary Poppins?
No.
No for Mary Poppins.
I don't see why anyone would watch this if they don't have kids.
Oh, now this next
Lin-Manuel Emmanuel, or whatever his name is a national treasure to a lot of people.
yeah, who cares? Now this one is the last season of The Last Ship. This is a show that was on
The
TBS.
TNT or
TNT
yeah.
or TBS, one of the two. I only mentioned this because my mother-in-law absolutely loved this show.
Really?
Yeah, she did. I don't. The
So
concept.
there was like a nuclear war, and it was the last warship
Well, it
out at
wasn't
sea
really
or
a
something?
nuclear war. It was some kind of virus that broke out.
Oh, okay.
And millions of people died, but all this crew on this ship that was out in the water
good to
never
go.
caught it. Yeah, and then I guess the storyline changed from season to season after that. I never watched it. I'll probably maybe catch it, maybe live, but I won't be watching it. This is the third season it's on this list, so I'm a no. Charles
I'm a no. Didn't watch it when it was on TBS or whatever. Yeah.
and Bill, what do you think?
It's unanimous. No.
Now, this next one I thought was funny because I didn't know they released these on Blu-ray. But this is the national championship game, and it's got a little documentary about Clemson with it. You can buy it.
BB's a huge yes.
Yeah, you can buy it at Best Buy this week. The national championship on
Is it
Blu-ray.
cut up like a WWE trailer?
I don't know.
Or is
No.
it just the game?
The only thing on the website just had the cover with the title, and
If
it
it's
was
got like
gold
if it's
cover.
like a sizzle reel, I'd probably check it out.
Yeah, so I'm a no. I probably won't watch this, but Charles,
I love Dabo, but I'm still a no.
yeah, and Bill, do you want to watch the Clemson national championship again?
Hard pass.
Now the problem with that is you can't really rent it. Like Flaming Video is not going to have that. So the only way you're going to see that is if you buy it, and we're not going to buy it. So let's go back to streaming. Now I only put this on here because a lot of you didn't catch it.
Yeah.
It's now new to Netflix. Christopher Robin with Ewan McGregor, Winnie the Pooh's story and
You
history.
were really lukewarm on it.
Yeah, so I'm a new. I'm not watching it again, Charles.
It's been on there for about a week, and I have not watched it, so I'm probably a no as well.
Yeah, and Bill, do you want to watch Christopher Robin?
No.
Thank you for kidnapping me. That's the best line of that movie. Eeyore says it at one point. And now Arrested Development's back, season 5B. This is allegedly
Second half of the fifth
Yeah, this is their last season together. I gave it a try to the first season. I just didn't like Arrested Development. I like a lot.
The funny part is, if you look at Arrested Development in its parts, Ron Howard directs a bunch of it. Jason Bateman's in it. What's his name? Michael Cera's in it. There's a ton of funny, but that show is terrible.
I know. I love. I'm not gonna say love, but I like a lot of the people in it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's funny. I'm sorry.
David Cross is
Yeah,
hilarious.
he's in it. Who's the bald guy that's kind of mean to women? He's in it too. That's on
Jeffrey
transgender.
Tambor?
Yeah, he's in it.
I mean, yeah. And then Will Arnett's in it.
yeah, ton of people I like, but I just can't like the
I
show.
don't watch it.
So I'm a no on Arrested Development season 5B. Charles
I'm co-sign no.
and Bill, are you a Arrested Development fan?
No, I tried it the first season too, and it was garbage. So no.
Yeah, so that
It tries too hard to be too quirky. It's like you've got so many funny dudes.
yeah, I just never liked it. Now this one's coming out on Netflix. I thought I don't know if this is an original Netflix or whatever. Queer Eye season 3.
This was a reboot to Netflix.
Oh, is that what it is?
This is, yes.
Okay, I'd never watched any season of this, so I'm a no. Charles
I'm a no, but I used to like Queer Eye. It used to be a funny show.
and Bill.
Yeah, I used to. I'd pass by it, flipping channels, stop and watch it for a while, but I don't think I'm going to go find it on Netflix. So I guess no.
Now this last one is just funny because I had to put it on here. It's coming to Amazon Prime. Amazon must be aiming for the India market.
You always break out a Bollywood movie or like a
It's
show.
when I pull up lists of what's new on Amazon besides old movies, it's some Bollywood show. This is called The Remix. They take local Indian DJs and they take Bollywood music and remix it into like pop music and remix. The trailer is hilarious. I'm not going to watch the show, but if you can watch the remix
They
trailer.
always say that India is like the most untapped market.
Well, Amazon's trying hard.
Yeah.
I'm a no on it, but it does look funny. I'm
Jeff
not gonna lie.
Bezos got bills to pay.
Yeah, Charles?
I'm a no.
And Bill, what do you think of The Remix on Amazon?
Are they mixing it into like actual current pop music songs? Or songs
No,
or are they
they're
making
taking
new
like
pop music
old
songs?
school Bollywood songs. So it's nothing we're ever gonna recognize. So like, and then they're adding like to it with lights and dancers. It's crazy.
It sounds kind of interesting, but I probably not.
Yeah. The only thing I will say, because after I saw this, I had to look it up. Watch the trailer on YouTube. I think that's all you really need to see, but you'll get a little taste of it. It does look hilarious. I don't think I'd sit through a half hour, an hour of it, though. I'll tell you that much.
Two things that weren't on your list, and I just off the top of my head, as you brought up Queer Eye, they brought Project Runway back to Bravo again, and it just debuted this past week. That show is a shell of its former self. Like, do you know what Project Runway is? The Heidi Klum show with Tim Gunn, where the designers make all the...
I know what it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Never watched a minute of it.
But the funny part is now, no one is still on it, but they brought it back again. Like, so it's like American Idol, where there's like, you don't recognize anyone on the show.
Is that back now, too?
Yeah. And then again, there's no one on that show. You're like, who are these people? And then the other thing, I hit you up with that Bel Air trailer that you taught.
yeah.
That was really, if you get a chance, check it out. It's basically like, and I think it's a fan-made thing.
Yeah, it is.
of someone who loved Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but they put like an Empire spin on it.
Yeah, they made it a drama, like in a trailer.
It
Only about 3 minutes long.
It's really cool to like look at though, because they basically take all of what you know Fresh Prince to be and then make it really serious and like Empire like.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for it. Like Steve said, I probably wouldn't watch it if it ever made it to light, but like I respect whoever made that.
It's kind of like
trailer.
what they did with Riverdale. They made Archie comic
dark
and
yeah.
edgy, and then he did the same thing.
Yeah,
With
it
Fresh
was
Prince
really
of Bel-Air.
cool though. If you get a chance, BV, just YouTube Bel Air is what it's called.
All right.
So there you go. A little look at some of the new stuff that came out and will be coming out. Some of it great, some of it not so great. Well, back to the Arrested Development. It's got the perfect formula that should appeal to me, and it's just terrible. I don't
And
know.
like you said, like Ron, I mean, I can name 6 people that on their own are like, I like these people. But then you put them all together, it's like, this is awful.
Yeah, I don't know why people love that show so much. I've never understood.
I think they're
that
in love with the idea of it, not the reality.
That could be a thing. All right, so a couple reviews, and this isn't really a review. It's more my thoughts. I've been meaning to put videos up, but I haven't because I'm lazy. I fell down a rabbit hole of model making. I just want to tell anybody, Bandai makes, and this is going to get really nerdy, so if people don't understand, they make Gundams. Gundams are giant robots from Japan.
Robots,
much.
as
Robots, yeah, as they would say on
As
Goldberg,
Murray, yeah.
which is still struggling, by the way. And the cool thing about them is you can put them together rather quick, and they don't use a lot of glue. Actually, no glue, really. I just glue some parts because they're loose. And I fell on this rabbit hole, and it's a lot of fun, but I just want to say the one I did that I really liked, and it's hard to find now because it's been discontinued, there's a Master Chief one. And I showed Charles
It's really
the picture.
good. It's really good.
It came out really good, and it's about 9 inches tall. Most of them come out smaller. I got it off of eBay for like $17 plus $8 shipping, so it wasn't that badly priced. But if you like models and or even if you like Legos, I guess it's fun to build them and stuff like that, and it's not that complex. So, Bandai model kits, I know some of the robots for Gundam, nobody knows what they are, but they also make a Voltron. There's a Master Chief, and then there's another like Transformer set where it's Optimus Prime and Starscream and stuff like that. I know it's a little too nerdy for most, but if you enjoy that kind of stuff, I highly suggest them. That's all I wanted to put out there. I know everyone's like, God, what a nerd. But I liked them. Anyways. And then Charles has been back in the rabbit hole of cameras.
Yeah, so last week I chronicled how the GoPro Fusion wouldn't do our podcast the length that we wanted to. I still am in love with the idea of doing some 360 stuff.
You won't let it go, folks.
I won't. I just love it. I really do. So we got this week. You're going to see up. I'm hopefully going to post some videos of some 360 stuff. We got an Insta 360 1X. So what this camera does, it does very similar specs to the GoPro, but it will also allow you to live stream 360. I was kind of working with that. The only thing that I've noticed is it has to be tethered to an iPad. I can't get it to tether to a PC yet. I'm trying to work on that. I'm actually going to call support. Who knows who I'm going to talk to on Monday about that. But there's a way that I could use OBS to then stream a 360 stream, and I'm going to work on that. But anyway, so we're going to work to update some video stuff, and we're going to try this Insta 360 1X. More to come in the future, but hopefully we can get some more 360 content up on the YouTube channel and stuff like that. So
more down the camera
yeah, I love it. It's hobbies.
So there you go. There's our nerd moments. Charles cameras, me model kits. Yeah. We try not to dwell too long on that because we don't want Bill falling asleep.
BV.
So, Bill, what do you think about streaming video games? You think that would work?
BV love.
It sounds like a good concept. I think the problem that I have with that at this point is that there's still a pretty wide range of
devices,
connectivity for people, and it leaves open so much opportunity for it to work really well for some, and for others to be constantly lagging and having gaps in the game because the signal, their connection isn't strong enough, or they don't have quite the bandwidth to support the games. If it could be done seamlessly, I think it's a good idea.
But here's the nice part about BV. If they could get it together, so imagine me and BV are definitely lighter into video games. BV's even lighter than I am. Steve's still pretty hardcore. But imagine you didn't have to buy any hardware going forward. That's an amazing concept to think about.
That theory.
So, like in theory, if something hit big for BV and you're like, hey, dude, let's all go online and play some football or whatever together. Well, imagine the price to enter is only $14 or whatever it was that month.
Right.
Like that sounds amazing. You know what I mean? Like so.
Yeah. So coming. The coming war, I guess. Winter is coming.
Yes. The streaming video game war.
There's 3 companies that want to be the Netflix of video games. One is Microsoft with their Project xCloud. xCloud, as I said that right. Google also, I didn't get the name of the Google project, but they got it also. And then Sony. So those 3 are all
So basically, it's current hardware manufacturers plus Google's throwing their hat in the ring.
And now Google hired the head director of Ubisoft to run their games department. So there is a female.
I'm not exactly too stoked on that one.
I know, but it's a female. I don't know what kind of games Google's aiming for. I don't know if it's going to be like mobile.
That Jade Raymond chick?
Yeah, long hair.
She's really a buzz name on the video game industry.
Google has her now.
Okay.
So I don't know if they're aiming for a mobile, but I know Sony and Xbox, they're saying, especially in Xbox One presentation that I linked to, you'll be able to pull up your phone, slap an Xbox controller on there, and play Forza 4 right there. And they did it in the demo.
It all sounds cool.
They did it in the demo. Now this is a controlled environment with max, intercept.
That's
so I don't know.
Point.
Yeah, I would like to see it out in the wild, see it operating. Personally, for me, if I can buy a system and I know I'm going to have a good connection and it's going to work great for me on my console locally, I'd prefer that. I just know the streaming track record, and I know I've tried PlayStation Now. When the AAA games tried to load, they loaded like crap. They didn't. The small games worked great, like the old school arcade games and stuff. But any kind of thing like Devil May Cry 5 that just came out, oh no, that's not going to work good. It froze up like crazy. Now, that was 2 years ago. Now, if things improved drastically in 2 years, I don't know. And PlayStation Now, they charge almost $30 a month for their service.
The big thing I would say is if all these companies, these hardware manufacturers, gave up on like VR stuff and didn't continue to keep pushing that forward, that tech, although Steve would argue it's probably dying on the vine already, but like the more these companies continue to work on it, the better they can work on these products. I'm interested. I really am. Yeah. I just think going forward, if you can get it where I don't have to buy a $400 console and then a $60, $70 game on top of it, I think the masses would jump on that.
The $60, $70 game part, I don't think is going to go away. They want that. And that's the other thing I was going to bring up. I forgot to put on here. We've been stuck at the $60 price point for a base game now for a while. Mm-hmm. Developers are dying to hike that some. You know that, right?
Do you think it's the console manufacturers pushing back at that number?
I don't know I think it's
so do you think, are you saying right now that those AAA releases you're going to have to buy independent of your streaming rights?
Oh, yeah.
So you think it's going to be tiered. So you're going to have back catalog
because Microsoft's going to stream you Halo, Forza, and stuff like that. Electronic Arts, when you want to buy that Madden, is not going to be part of that Game Pass. Right now, Madden's not part of the game. Why not? They're in love with Microsoft. Why aren't they? Because they want you to buy that Madden for $60. Well, $40 now because it's been out a while. But so I feel as we switch over and things are going to become digital, I think there's going to be a price hike coming.
Though. So that's like, but think about it though. So that's like Netflix charging me $6 on top of it to watch Triple Frontier on top of my streaming rights.
Yeah, I think that's
the
video game industry.
But that's a misstep. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you're
if you really want to get, like I said, if you want to get the masses. So we all talk about like how Bird Box, everyone watched it because it was just included in your Netflix.
Right.
If there was a premium on top of your Netflix, you wouldn't have saw the groundswell for Bird Box as much as you did.
Well, isn't there already? Like Hulu, there's a premium to get that HBO stuff.
The HBO stuff is a whole other tier, though.
Well, that's what they'll tell you what those games are.
Dude, I don't. Netflix is literally you get the Netflix catalog for X amount of dollars,
and you get X amount of shows, right?
You get all of net. They don't tier Netflix. They don't.
I know. I'm saying you got what Netflix has, though, right?
Yeah.
But Game of Thrones ain't on Netflix, correct? Or is it is? I don't know.
No, it's not. I don't think it is.
So how are you going to see that? You got to pay extra and get HBO Now, right?
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. You're going to have all the Xbox games here. And then if you want those EA games, you're going to pay money to them to get that one. It's not
that
going to be all in
just
one.
seems
There's no way it's
crazy.
going to be all in one. Not with that many big companies digging in.
Yeah, but if there's no consoles out there, what do they do?
What?
If next gen, the ultimate impetus of this whole thing is going to be not having multiple consoles out, right? So in other words, this service is available on your phone with an Xbox thing slapped on the back of it. This thing is available everywhere like Netflix is.
Well, the big thing is Game Pass, right now?
Yeah.
EA has their own already, even though it's dog shit and I played it and it's useless. Origin or whatever it is. So what would stop them from just doing it themselves? Or going in the bed with Google or someone else outside of
I
it?
don't know.
There'd be ways around it.
I think that $60 on top of it is just crazy, but that's what UFC does to me, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think next generation games are going to go up by $10. I'm going to guarantee that. I think there's still going to be a console next generation, which may not have any discs, but I bet you most games will be $70 next generation. They've been dying to do that for about 15 years.
So what you're telling me right now is you think that the next generation is going to have hardware associated with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Because Sony's already admitted they're working on PS5.
But then so BV couldn't be all in, like I said, like BV on a whim couldn't be like, hey, I want to go play this with Steve because you're going to say he's going to require hardware still next gen.
Yeah. They're still probably a gen and a half away. I think Xbox going to schedule it so it'll work in eventually, but at launch, it'll be a traditional console. It may not have an optical drive. You may have to download all your games. But I think there's going to be a console. The streaming stuff's not quite ready for prime time just yet. That's why you haven't heard anything about it. But the digital is, and I think there's going to be a price hike on games. Bill, would you pay $70 for Madden?
No.
And I think that's most people.
Honestly, if I had paid, because I recently, I thought, well, it'd be a good idea to get a PS4, and so I ended up getting one for Christmas because I never bought one before that. And I thought, well, okay, it's cheap enough now they can. But no, and I didn't buy any of the games, and I honestly haven't gotten into the games enough to where I don't think I'm not paying $60 for any games right now.
Right.
But the thing, I don't know that they really. I don't know if the strategy of going after the masses at one subscription rate is really their best play, right? Because if they have to have you on a constant subscription service to be able to even access the games, and you have to pay a premium for any game you actually want, then they're going to take the Steves of the world and the parents of the kids, and they're going to suck them dry month by month by month, and then still hit them for all the premiums. And they're going to make more money than they, overall than they ever would have just off selling consoles.
Yep.
They don't need the masses.
But I think that I would argue that they do. And the reason why is because if you look at like a Fortnite, the reason why Fortnite and all these PUBGs and all
By
that.
the way, who owns Fortnite?
EA. But what I'm saying is that game is everywhere. Yeah. And I think that all these video game developers and look at that as like the reason why Fortnite is so amazing.
It's everywhere.
Is because it's on everything. And I think that the future of gaming is that ability to throw you on everything, because it's like the World of Warcraft model. You know what I mean? Like the reason why is everyone who had a PC had World of Warcraft. I think they're trying to tap that. If I can there's how many iPhones in this world? If I can put my streaming service for my games on that iPhone, I make a mint. And that's what they think of.
Great point to that is over the summer, there was a kid Holly goes to school with. He's deep into Fortnite. Over the one summer, guess how much he spent on skins and stuff for that game?
Probably a couple $100. Usually.
$500.
Yeah, that's
in
crazy.
one summer. They made $500 off a
crazy.
14-year-old kid in Dearborn Heights.
But now, so think about how many kids did that.
Yeah, times billions. And then, here's us old fogies just buy the Madden,
I
that's all you're getting
I
from
don't
me.
think that BV is. I don't think that the future of gaming is hardcore gamers.
Well, I think Microsoft sees your point of view, and I think Microsoft is aiming for that. I still think that Sony and Google and Electronic Arts, yeah, they want that too, but they want it just in their pockets. I don't think Electronic Arts wants to go into bed with any of them guys. They want their own money. What'd you say, Bill?
Aren't games like Fortnite though and all that? I mean, I've never seen them, but aren't they relatively pedestrian as far as graphics and interactivity? Okay, so that's a lot different than getting, the developers of things like Call of Duty or
God of War.
the SOCOM or
But
whatnot.
what you guys are just
SOCOM.
But what
Navy
BB's bringing
SEALs,
up
to get those kind of games where they're going to just include it in a subscription service without any premium, it seems like that would be a losing proposition. They probably have to, the amount of money they have to put into making those.
But what
they
you
probably
just
need it
described,
to
BV, are games that require hardware. What Steve's bringing up is the fact that streaming, so you'll be able to have a God of War or a SOCOM game, really relevant Sony game. You'll be able to have those games. You're just looking into a portal with which you're playing it on different hardware stream.
But I would argue that it's not going to look as good if you had a hard. I bet you graphics will get toned down at first. So like
At first,
that
but
God of War 4 that just
would
came out.
you sacrifice a layer of?
Me
I could
personally,
make
no.
the argument, you personally, but I would argue that you're in a minority.
I know I am.
You're a graphics whore.
Bert's already-
I'm a graphics whore.
Bert's already said he'd rather have gameplay over graphics any day.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, so imagine you're a kid in the 10th grade whose parents crazily bought them an iPhone, and I can play the new God of War. It's a little nerfed, but it's still God of War, and it's still the story, and it's still, you know what I mean? Like, I think that me and you love some 4K deliciousness. I'm not arguing that. But I'm saying, like, if I'm a kid who's got, like, a family of 4 has 4 iPhones in it, and you can get all 4 of those on, like, a family pass, that's got to mean just tons of loot, man.
Yeah, well, Microsoft sees it, and they're kind of doing it with their Game Pass. And by the next... the only problem I have is if you really start adding it up, you know, the Game Pass is $10 a month. Then you got the Xbox Live Gold, which is $60 a year. You know, so there's all these other little nickel and dimes that they catch their money back. And then most of the games have in-game shit you can buy from more, so they'll get their money. But I just feel EA's greedy, and they're going to want to do their own thing, especially as long as they have that Madden and Star Wars license. They'll probably feel like they can, but we'll see what happens. It's going to be a giant war breaking out. No one cares besides us nerds and fanboys and all this other shit.
Well, we'll see. But I think that I could make the argument that the masses will care if any device could play like the top tier games. You know what I mean? Like how big was Flappy Birds and how big was all this? Yeah. It's just because if on your phone was like a badass game, like dude, check this out. Like
Flappy Birds was never a badass game.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say.
I hate mobile games. I know I'm in the minority.
Yeah, but you hate mobile games because they suck. But imagine if they were good.
But they never are. So, I mean, Angry Birds.
I'm optimistic that they'll nail that streaming. I really am.
I don't think so. I think it's going to be a mess at first. And maybe down the road. Here's the problem, though. I don't think they'll nail it right away. And then will it catch on fast enough to make enough money to keep them to continuing to improve it?
Fortnite wasn't huge initially. So Fortnite didn't launch like Apex Legends just did. So in other words, it took a groundswell to move it towards that.
Yeah. So you're saying it takes that one killer game on there that'll
every kid in the 10th grade is sitting there with their parents bought iPhone playing the new God of War game streamed over the Sony app.
Yeah, it won't be God of War.
But you get what I'm saying.
Murder them all or whatever the hell, you know.
I'm just saying, like, think about that. That sounds awesome.
So there you go. What are you gonna say, Bill?
I was just I know you guys have probably had enough tangents, in the last week to last your life, but you mentioned something that I have. Well, it's going to show my lack of knowledge of any kind of current technology, but you talked about your love of 4K deliciousness, I think it was.
Yes.
So I've got a 4K TV. I've still never seen anything in 4K. So, I mean, I'm obviously not spending the extra money for a 4K receiver for my DirecTV or anything.
That's the thing, yeah. So I have 4K Blu-ray player in my front living room. Steve would say that the game consoles, so your PlayStation 4 you just bought is not a Pro, so he's just a regular standard.
Well, even the Pro doesn't have a 4K player, I don't think.
I think, well, no, but I'm saying we'll play games in 4K.
Yeah, but it won't play movies.
Yeah, but no, I'm just saying, like, as far as getting that content to BV's TV.
Yeah.
So I've got Apple TVs that will deliver in 4K. I pay extra to get the Netflix in 4K. I get a lot of 4K content for me. Is that what your question is, BV? Like, what content is everyone watching?
How are you getting? What mediums are you using to get the 4K? And...
So I just watched the Melissa McCarthy movie. The Can You Ever Forgive Me? I watched it in 4K.
You need that in 4K.
It's just, but it's available in 4K.
Look at this frumpy fat girl. She's in 4K.
What's that, BV?
is there enough as far you sort of standard cable or satellite service? Is there enough live or
No.
real time content to make it worth the while yet? I didn't think there was, but
not in my opinion. See, but I could still make the argument, and Steve will call me to let it go. But I'm saying the 4K stuff is nice. I'm not arguing that. And the HDR stuff, I think, is a game changer, too. Having those different levels of the colors is really nice, and the picture will pop. But still the 3D stuff was at least something that looked different. Yeah. You knew when you were looking at 3D content. 4K stuff is not like smack your mom amazing.
Yeah, the leap from VHS to DVD was huge, right? No one's going to argue that. And then from DVD to Blu-ray, yeah, it was pretty big.
It was huge to me. You didn't want to watch standard def. I can't watch standard def.
And then from Blu-ray to 4K,
that's
not that huge.
Yeah.
Now, for me, 4K shines when you and Charles don't watch them, which is ironic. I think comic book movies with the effects and stuff in 4K look fantastic.
I bet you Mortal Engines if in 4K.
Yeah, but you'd still have to sit through Mortal Engines.
The big thing I think 4K does look great in is when you break out a game console.
Yeah, games look great.
You see the fidelity and like the crispness of that graphic stuff. Like my PlayStation 4 Pro, man, it puts out some that Last of Us in 4K looks amazing, and you just see things. You can see a marked difference in the two different versions.
Mm-hmm. Now, with 4K content, like with anything, it's like certain shows look better than others. Like Charles has always been a big, the Survivor. High-def Survivor, for some reason, is one of the most fantastic.
It is one of the...
And my wife records it in standard def. Dude, it makes my mind go nuts.
It looks amazing. Yeah. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, Survivor in 4K or high-def looks terrific.
It is one of the best-looking high-definition shows on television, bar none.
Yeah, it really is. And I can't.
They get to these tropical locations, and man, the blues look just great. Oh,
but as far as you go, Bill, you don't really have. If you had
sporting events,
Xbox One plays Blu-ray, 4K Blu-ray, 4K movies, where I know PlayStation doesn't. But they play 4K games, so you might be seeing when you play Madden, it might be in 4K. I don't know what your TV settings are or anything like that, but it's probably a good chance it's in 4K. Because what the PlayStation 4 does, it reads your settings on your television,
optimizes,
and it optimizes for your best picture automatically. You can go in and tweak some of that stuff if you wanted to.
Oh, okay. Because to be honest, I watch things in high def now, and I can't imagine it being. That there would ever be a need for it to be
higher
better
fidelity,
than it is now, to the point that I would pay, I go out of my way to pay for it.
Yeah, I don't. Charles does.
I'm sure they can get better. I'm sure they probably can make it even better than 4K. But when you reach a certain point, unless you are a real kind of hardcore, consumer of this sort of thing, I don't know that it. It seems like it's all just diminishing returns at this point.
Well, me and Charles being gamers, we were always hot to get 4K right away anyways, because I know computers always had 4K. My first 4K experience was with Street Fighter on the computer, and it had a look and a crispness that my TV didn't have. So that's what drove me, was video games, not television or movies.
But video games are a great benchmark for what the stuff can be.
Yeah,
they really are.
Yeah. So, do you want to pay for it? I don't know. It's up to you.
The biggest thing you got to look at, BV, is whatever model TV you have, you need to go online and Google that particular model, and it will give you the optimal settings. You need to go on these because a lot of people, when I go to their houses, man, they've got that cinema smoothing still turned on.
Go to my mother-in-law's house, your head will explode.
Oh, my God, I can't. It's just like, regardless of what your content is coming in, get the optimal settings for your television is the key point for me.
Yeah, a lot of AV websites and stuff will have that.
Yeah, you just Google your model number, and there'll be AV text that'll put the stuff.
Isn't it getting almost impople not to find a 4K TV? Most TVs are 4K
it's baked
now.
In, yeah.
Yeah, they're not, because I bought a TV for my mom for Christmas, and I was looking for because she didn't need one. I was looking for a non 4K, and basically it's just closeouts now. All major manufacturers aren't making anything other than 4Ks anymore.
That's ironic. Me and Charles bought a 4K for my mom too.
Yeah, sure. Wait for that, Ma.
So there you go. Bill, did you ever see any of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies?
No.
Okay, great, Bill. Good talking. Chris Pratt, you familiar with him though? You know what they are? Marvel.
I like Chris Pratt.
So back about a year ago, the guy who directed most of them, both of them actually, was named James Gunn, and on his Twitter, because every celebrity has to have Twitter. I swear, if I was a director of a movie, I would just cancel any social accounts I have. Well, they found some shit from 10 years ago where he went to a pedophile-themed movie party, which is a little odd to go to a pedophile. And they threw a fit, and of course, Marvel's made by Disney.
Like, who throws a pedophile party?
Yeah, that is a little weird.
Network? I mean, really?
Yeah, and then there was like a Nazi party you went to too.
Oh
There were costume parties, but they were themed, but they had weird themes on them. And of course, he took pictures. He went there, and he thought it was funny. So he ended up getting fired from Disney.
How does one? Not whatever. I don't want to derail your conversation. But how? Okay, so if I called you tomorrow and I'm like, "Hey, I'm having a pedophile party, Steve."
I'd be like, good luck with that.
What do you dress up as to a pedophile party? Like, what does a pedophile wear?
A priest?
I don't know. Well,
BB's
Dress up as a priest.
yeah, that might be one. Or I think
Michael Jackson.
He went with two girls, and the girls dressed up like little kids,
Okay.
and then he dressed up like a creeper.
That's
or
a
something.
weird
I don't know.
thing, admittedly.
That's a weird Hollywood fucking party. That's all I gotta say. Well, Disney wasn't happy with him and fired his ass. And now Dave Bautista is a big part of Guardians guy, and he always stood by him. And I'm not doing another one. Well, Disney backpedaled and hired him back. So in 2021, he's going to start making Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So he'll be back. But Warner Brothers, interesting side note, Warner Brothers hired him to do Suicide Squad 2. So they're doing that first, and then he's going back over to Disney to do Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So by about 2022, you'll have the third Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
I enjoy those movies. I do like them.
I do like them. I think it's a great cast, and everyone seems to be enjoying themselves when they do those movies. I like a movie. That's like my knock on Captain Marvel was not everyone looked like they were having fun. Guardians of the Galaxy, everyone looks like they're having fun. But so the pedophile party's okay. It's not that big a deal. Just make sure it was from 10 years ago, not last week. I guess that's the moral of the story. So what about these flags, Charles?
Yeah, so I work at the airport, and there happens to be at the front of the building in which I work at, there's 3 flagpoles. One of which we fly a United States flag, one we fly a state of Michigan flag, and the other one is a corporate flag that we fly for the corporation I work for. Dude, people take this flag business way too goddamn serious. And I'm not here to dispel vets and all you're thinking of the service and all this kind of stuff. No one means any disrespect when they put a flag on a pole. But there are people waiting to correct you on how and why you fly these flags. For example, if you have 3 flagpoles of the same height, the one that's on the farthest left has to be the United States flag. How in the hell am I supposed to know that short of Googling it?
Sheldon Cooper could have told you that.
Oh, fun with flags. Yeah. It's the crazy, and we literally have taken calls with people correcting us on our flag etiquette at the building I work at, because it's just like these people are just and I don't take a knee during the national anthem. If the flags need to be replaced or repaired, we gladly put new ones up. Man, people, calm down about the flags. No one's trying to disrespect the United States flag. We're literally just putting them up. We support the country, the state, the local government. Dude, really bad, man. So then this past week, in the high winds, the United States flag took some damage, and it literally broke, and I had to pick it up, and I brought it into the building. Okay? Mm-hmm. I had a director of operations flipping out on me. And I'm like, first of all, the flagpole's broken, man. He's like, you can't do it that way. Like, what are you talking about? I had to put the United States flag back out in the middle and then remove the corporate flag and put the state flag back up because we're a public building. And he's like, the flag police will show up and yell at us because we're not flying. I go, the pole broke, man. Like, what do you want me to do here? It's just...
So who's complaining? Is it...
It might be a veteran who gets off the bus that's right there and then looks up and notices we don't have the proper flag sequences.
Wow.
It's bad, Steve. And we don't mean to disrespect. We're literally just flying the flag of our country. Yeah. And it's just, man, these people are like dragging you over the coals. Like, how do you not know this? My question to you is, how do you know this? Is what I don't understand. I'm not a veteran. I respect the military and all that kind of stuff. thank you for all that you've done, but man, I'm not trying to be disrespectful here. I'm just trying to fly a flag. It's crazy, man.
I thought all that mattered was you had to have the U.S. flag above all other flags, higher than all
But
other
if they're
flags.
at the same height, if you have multiple flags, BV, it's supposed to be at the furthest left away from the building. So in other words, that's what I'm saying. So like, it's the craziest. There's all these rules, and we don't mean any disrespect by it.
Yeah,
It's the weirdest thing. Like, no one's flying it upside down, and I'm not trying to be Colin Kaepernick. I'm literally just trying to say, here's the United States flag. Man, it's real, Steve, man. It's one of those things. And that director of operations was flipping out. He worked in Washington, D.C. That's why. So he had been, like, through the ringer at, I'm sure, his old places, and they gave him crap. So then he came here and see that we're a government-owned building and all that. So then he's super punchy about it.
Jeez.
It's the flag police are real, Steve. Don't get it twisted, man.
I do have a side note to this.
Yeah, what's up?
Up in Durand, Michigan,
Okay.
there, a little outside of Durand, there is a Gander Mountains.
Okay.
Gander-
Still operational? 'Cause I
Well,
thought they
they
all
went
closed.
well, they did, and then they reopened.
Camping World
Now
bought
they're
them out.
yeah, they're called Ganderland or something
Okay.
up there now. But the point of it is, they have the world's biggest United States flag I've ever seen in my life. in
Bigger
front
than
of
like the Bell Tire flag that's over
I don't
there?
know how big the Bell Tire one is, but this one has to be 30 foot tall and about 70 foot long. Wow. It is the most giant flag you've ever seen. Me and Bert both sat there staring at this thing. It is the biggest flag you will ever
man.
see. This flagpole is probably like 7 foot around at the
Wow.
bottom, and it shoots I'm telling you, it's the biggest flag. It's very patriotic up there in Durand, Michigan. So,
Dude,
you
it's
know.
crazy, man. And I bet you the flag police are hardcore in Durand. I bet you.
Oh, side note also, Durand, Michigan got hit with a tornado.
Yeah, you
3
said
miles
that,
north
yeah.
of Burt. It just
Wow.
missed him. So, yeah,
Did
tornado.
the sirens go off and everything at his
Yeah,
house?
he heard all
and
that
everything?
stuff. Yeah, it was crazy.
Did he take shelter? He
Of
just
course,
said,
I
"Screw
slept
it."
through it all.
Crazy person.
Well, he has no basement. Where is he going to go?
Yeah, I guess that's right.
Yeah, so there you go. So flags, flag police.
We're
digital
trying, man.
streaming.
I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I really am not.
Kaepernick over here screwing with the
Yeah,
flags.
it's like, this is crazy.
Oh, man. You know, Bill has a bunch of flags in front of his house.
Make sure it's
Yeah, we
on
don't
the
have a
left.
flagpole.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he just stands out there and waves them. It's very tiring.
It's crazy.
So we'd like to thank everybody this week for the St. Patrick's Day version. Make sure you get you some green beer today or some kind of Irish cream or whatever you
Yeah.
want. I'd like to thank our special guest coming in via Skype from Chicago, William Vicious. Okay.
Thanks for having me.
Always bringing the football and wrestling insight. And, of course, I thank my co-host, Charles, and
Hey.
I'm Steve. You can catch us on fatguyslittlepodcast.com, iTunes, Google Play, and everything, anywhere you can get podcasts pretty much. And we'll catch you next time. So have a good one.